Now it's good. Now we're good. Stop yawning.
Yay.
Now it's happening.
Excellent.
Many things are happening. We should probably, because you could yell and scream at any time, warn everybody that you are playing 7 Days to Die and you are streaming it to the Discord audience.
Yes, I am. I said, actually, one of our Studio Maker players, Loth, said he wanted to play with some people at some point. And I was like, do I have that game? I have that game. I'm going to install that game. And I'm like, oh my...
I think we tried to play it together, but that was years ago when it was a lot less stable.
And a lot weirder looking.
Yeah, a lot jankier. As early release games often are.
Yeah. So, honestly, I have to say, I really like this. This is like Minecraft 2.0 to me. Just with less weird mobs and shit.
I don't say that yet. I've seen a lot of people play 7 Days. There's some weird, dumb zombies which don't make any goddamn sense.
Let's see here. I've seen like a flaming zombie. I've seen like those running on all four zombies. I've seen zombies. Did I say on burning? Yeah, burning zombies. And they're just regular zombies. So I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what the difficulty creep in this game is. So I don't know. But yeah. So if I only start.
Sorry, technical difficulties. Hold on. Fuck. I was paused this whole time. Because you didn't notice at all. Because I left the call because somebody started video calling and Discord is bad. So we missed all that rambling about Terraria.
Wow.
It's okay. It's in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
But yeah, I paused it for tech diff and then I got in. But you didn't stop talking and didn't notice.
No, I didn't.
So I just got back into it. Hi. So we did some goof up there. We talked about the Terraria patch came out and how much we love Terraria, but neither of us is playing it yet because you literally can't read the changelog right now. That's how popular Terraria is. Luckily, that means we don't have to reiterate all that stuff that was about FGO.
No, we don't.
We can just... it's basically the same thing as we said on Let's Take FGO that just came out. Just watch it again. Just watch it one more time. Yeah. But is there anything you think from the Terraria point other than the fact that the final patch is out and we will probably play it at some point that we want to get in there?
No, I'm just excited. I'm going to shoot a chicken bell real quick.
Okay. Well, since... we're still several minutes in before we got confoozled. I should make sure to throw a shout out to our patrons, which includes Anger Comics, Blacklist OG, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda-san over 24, and Video Gamer 75. And if you like what we do, want to see more supporters and Patreon, you can access episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
I already cracked my monster. My bad. I thought we were rolling.
Confusing. But we didn't.
Confusing.
We didn't do the Patreon thing at least, but now it's here. One of those Patreon intros, by the way, those benefits is that you can get access to the lost episode of Anime Power Hour. I dug it back up. The original Dropbox was closed. I dug it back up. I posted it to Mega. Mega was weird, but the link works. And now anybody who is a patron can dig that one up and check it out.
Oh,
just
shit!
You want to see what Editor Lucky is like.
Knife! Fuck! Ow, everybody! Screw this gun!
Why would you put a Max Ascension 1066 Cha-Cha on your support list? I'm going to talk about FGO again. And give it no CE. Why does she have no CE? Give anything there. Put anything there. I'm going to pick Lucky. You got an MLB damage CE in there.
I have literally done like almost nothing with my... Hey, it's a workbench. With my support set. Oh shit, it's a sexy nurse zombie! Why are these a thing? This country's fucking nurse dress code is...
Well, also, I'm pretty sure in 7 Days, there's like zombie strippers who are like...
Oh yeah, no,
naked.
totally. Yeah, no, totally.
That's gross.
Actually, I shouldn't be in here. Otherwise, I'm going to pick up everything and I'm going to be over-encumbered, and then I have to have a very long walk home.
I don't think we talked that much about Argonauts on Let's Take FGO this week.
Oh, what does this claw hammer do? Oh! Repairing and upgrading. It's not bad as a weapon. Perfect. It can replace my fucking axe. Give me that shit.
Oh, there it is. There's always that turn. Vesper posted something in Hell Not Safe for Work, and I'm like, is this? Could I retweet this? And then you get to the third image, and you're like, oh no, I cannot. I had that with something else where I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's a little spicy. A little, oh, hey, there's a nipple in there. Well, can't retweet that. Happens all the time.
Oh, now I gotta figure out how to get out of this fucking house. Yeah,
so... Audience, hey, speaking about Patreon benefits, if you want to see what Lucky's doing, you have to support us and watch the stream live, and then you can get in the recording channel and see him streaming. Also, Loth is wondering if you can see him, and he wants to know if he can join it or not.
No, this is me and my buddy right now, but we can totally make a server. Actually, you know, he probably wouldn't mind if other people came in, but here's the thing, I'm worried about Loth doing something fucking weird. It's
like building a tower of sloths?
Like, Loth's a cool dude, he really is, but once in a while, he just decides to do something that just makes me question everything about him. So I'm just like,
Like voluntarily create role-playing drama?
Mhm.
Oh, shoot, that means I gotta add another one of those. What are we up to? Which one did I post? 21 Camping Moon will go. So we got 22 and 23 in the hopper.
Okay.
Though, hey, if we want to jump right into that discussion, 22.
Oh shit.
22 will be titled "Run Rabbit Junk,"
Mhm.
which is the title of a track which you probably recognize if you ever watched Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. And this is probably going to be the big Ghost in the Shell episode.
Oh yeah, it is. Because basically, like, as soon as you had said you'll watch everything, I was like, all right, cool, I can watch it now and not like pressure Omega.
Well, yeah. So it was last week. The episode "Anime Harem Collector." Check it out if you haven't. It has a Touchcoma on it. But that was, I watched one episode and I was like, we need to wrap the show so I can go watch the rest of these episodes. And then I did, which was really easy because there's only 12 episodes, which sucks, kind of.
I think that was literally my tweet. It's like, the worst thing about Ghost in the Shell 2045 is that it's only 12 episodes. And I'm like, that is my entire
and it's
move.
a cliffhanger too. It's a stark ender. We probably won't go into we won't go into super detail just yet, or at least we'll give you a little bit of buffer time if you're new. You know, you haven't watched it or you're gonna watch it. We'll give a little wiggle room because I know there's people with spoilers. Some people don't even know it's out, but it is actually out. All the dubs and stuff. But yeah, so it ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm just like, what? Huh? It's over? Fuck.
My part 2 when?
And then after I told you, like, the next day, yeah, I actually watched all of them. You did the same thing. And then the other thing that Omega has been doing is that then because I have it on DVD, yes, a DVD, not a Blu-ray. I've heard the Blu-ray releases for Standalone Complex were handled poorly.
Oof, really?
They were by a licensor or whatever, and they don't have good goo versions. Though, oh wait, no, Netflix wouldn't have the original SAC, so Adult Swim has permanent broadcasting rights because they chipped in money, much like how Netflix chipped in money for 2045. They chipped in some of the money for the original Standalone Complex series, so Adult Swim has indefinite solo broadcasting rights. That's why you will always see Ghost in the Shell on occasional cycle on like Toonami or Adult Swim or something. But also, luckily, this does mean that you can watch all of the original Standalone Complex for free on Adult Swim's website. Like, I didn't notice any paywalls or anything. They didn't try to shenanigans me. It's just up there.
Boom. I made it. It's in here. A lot of random shit. Okay. Oh,
yeah, Manga Entertainment also put in some of the money for SAC, which is really, really weird because it's a very Japanese show that frequently conflicts with the American Empire, but the anime was co-funded by an American company, Adult Swim, and Manga Entertainment, who's originally British, I believe. It's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Same with how it's got now on Netflix in 2045. But yeah, so I busted out my DVDs and I watched all of the original Standalone Complex, the first season, because I don't know the second season yet. Because Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff. It's free anyway. I'll catch up later. But yeah, so 2045. So I'll say overall, my opinions I think are kind of unchanged from watching the one episode. The model work is at best unobtrusive.
It's a solid 5 out of 10.
Yeah,
not good.
There's
not
nothing, and by the way, Lucky doesn't mean that it's trash when he says that. He means that literally. No. We've talked about this before, but with rating scales, the actual middle numbers need to exist.
Yes.
To matter. Not everything can be a 7 out of 10. But it's definitely a very middle of the road. They're not super flashy, but they're not like awful or anything either.
No, it's like they adhere to strict basics and making sure that the movements are good. That's what I want to say.
Yes, the choreography, I want to say, and the rigging of the animation is very, very solid. There's a sequence later where the Major gets into basically a boxing fight, and it's really, really well animated and fluid. We've talked about Togusa also busts out some judo moves a couple of times. Very, very well choreographed. Obviously, like, probably mocapped. Because they're very organic and with people. And obviously some people will be like, what about the dub clip? Shush. Having seen that actual part of the episode, no, that is definitely 100% unintentional. If you're like, but it looks really freaky. Yeah, duh. I said this when you posted the clip after you'd watched one episode. I'm like, that guy's probably got, like, he's a cyborg, or he's got some weird shit going on, or he's an android or something.
And guess what? You got some weird shit going on. I'm like, no, it makes perfect fucking sense.
Yeah, like obviously you're like, yeah, it looks freaky and weird, but it's supposed to. It's supposed to look really alien, and if you find that funny, well, I can't stop you. Like, sometimes that does cause unintentional humor, but also, by the way, I'd like to point out, that guy, when he's doing those handstand backflips, he's doing that after he has a broken hand, because he the Major tries to get into a clinch with him, and he breaks his own hand to get out of her grasp. It's freaky deaky.
Well, no, like, people were telling me how freaky he was doing the backflips. I found the most freaky is when he was dodging bullets using like almost no movement.
Yes, when they pre-predict the bullet dodge. That's the weird part, and they just dance around them. Mm-hmm. Even when the Major's like, shoot at his legs. There's no such thing as a Hollywood standalone complex. There's a Hollywood Ghost in the Shell, which I haven't seen and never will see because everybody who actually watched it said, nah, it's not very good. I'm like, okay, don't need to see it.
Yep, no. I will.
It was a dumb idea, and I was proven correct by anybody who actually watched other Ghost in the Shell and just say that it doesn't really do the thing.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm like, whatever. It's like Netflix trying to make their own dumb live action Death Note, which everybody who saw was just like, nah, this isn't great. I'm like, okay, I don't need to watch it. People say it's not great. I say this is a guy who actually really enjoys the first half of Death Note. The second half's really not worth it. Anyway, we're talking about Ghost in the Shell. So yeah, 2045 overall, very very well done. I do think if I had any criticisms after watching the first season of Standalone Complex again, which is a full 26 episodes, I feel like 2045 almost overuses action. I feel like almost every frickin' episode there's an action sequence, which is for a series that's only 12 episodes. That feels a little overused, right? Because
a little. I wouldn't say too much because, like I said, like
I was just thinking about it in retrospect, and I'm like, man, compared to the original SAC, there's a lot of use of action.
Yeah, well, I guess my concern was the action actually unwarranted, or did it move the narrative forward?
No, it does move the narrative forward, but I feel like they used action to the antagonists in this series so far are much more dynamic and physical, and they use action scenes to ramp up tension and move the story forward. Whereas, and they use almost big flashy action scenes with lots of bodies, as opposed to smaller drama scenes or lots of introspective detective stuff or smaller action scenes between characters, more akin to like that Togusa scene in the first episode where, because Togusa, he doesn't have a lot of cyberization, he's at risk for stuff.
I don't know. I do love the episode, the result, what came from Togusa's death.
That would have fun one. At first I was like, are they gonna do my boy Togusa like that? And then it's like, no, it's fun. They have a fun out. Which honestly, harkens back to a lot of other stuff in the series too.
Yeah,
like it's really interesting to see Togusa grow as a character.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like, out of all the people who's gotten a lot of character development, I really want to say Togusa.
Yeah,
he's just.
Though I will say, poor Togusa, he is always the guy getting like brain hacked or influenced or put in risk. Like, and there's a scene in Second Gig where he gets like arrested for doing some shit off duty and has to go to trial.
Oh, that reminds me. You were talking about Stan and his clone and his code name. So I actually paid attention this time. They do say omoshiroi, and they translate it as clown. But as far as I know, Japanese omoshiroi or omoshiro usually means something like funny or interesting.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like funny guy is the translation. Also, I do feel a little bad about Stan. They just after the first 3 episodes set up, they just get rid of him.
Well, they
leave the door open that the Major could be like, oh, if we need that guy again, we'll call him. But it's funny how insistent the series is, which is not original to 2045. How insistent the series is that it's all about the core characters, because that's the climax of the first season is just Aramaki like telling like 50 different Japanese politicians, no, dude, Section 9 is those like 4 guys. It's like 8, I think, actually, but you know what I mean.
It's 8, yeah.
It's those guys. If they're dead or arrested or disappeared, Section 9 doesn't exist, man. I'm like, well, okay, you're not wrong, but also, oh wow, very dedicated.
Well, I mean, you saw that in this season too, when he's all like, "We need Section 9," and Armand says, "I'm getting these people and only these people, no one else."
Togusa, go find those guys. It's like, okay, and then Togusa has a sweet car chase. That's cool. But yeah, that's something I wanted to say, having gone back and watched the original SAC. Like, at first I was like, I feel kind of bad that, like, I'd love if they introduced Togusa's now ex-wife and his older kids, because that's something I want to talk about as a timeline in a second. like back in. I'd love if they got more touch to like reference his character. I did say I felt a little sad that he did get divorced, but at the same time, that was a lot of his character arc, was just he was constantly throwing himself into work. In a major plot episode of SAC, he doesn't go home for 2 nights straight. Like, he literally does not go home. And I'm like, no, that's not a healthy work-life balance, Chief. He's always had... And there's a section where he's quote-unquote unemployed, where he hates it because he's just sitting around his house. Like, it's... He was the family guy, but also you can tell that he's really a workaholic inside, too. It's interesting. So the thing I wanted to mention about the timeline is I went back and I watched it. So obviously 2045 is set in 2045. And obviously Ghost of the Shell has an alternate timeline. Because the original standalone complex is set in 2030.
Yeah, it's been 15 years.
Yes. But I want to emphasize that for our audience. It is currently May 16th, 2020. Standalone complex is 2030. And there's 2 world wars in there. Just to remind you that this is firmly an alternate timeline. A lot of these concepts were established by Shiro Masamune in like the 80s.
Well, they say that, but they did do a lot of work to modernize a lot of
Oh no, they did. That's something I
content.
definitely noticed, because the first season of Standalone Complex was like 2003, 2004, I want to say. And everybody has personal terminals, but they're basically flip phones. Yep. Now in 2045, they're basically smartphones.
Yeah.
Like, they're obviously cyber or something, but they look like smartphones now in 2045, whereas in the original Standalone Complex, they look like, standard issue Japanese flip phones. But it's very interesting to see that difference of 2002. That's right. It's very interesting to see that difference of like, oh wow, that was like, first of all, it's been 15 years, so that's a big deal. But also, it's interesting to see that, that whole characterization thing kind of move on with people and like look at the tech stuff. Yeah, it's so good. It's really good. The animation's crazy good.
Yeah, well, that's production IG for you.
Yeah, like even their 2002 CG, which apparently I think it was a record-setting budget, but even their 2002 CG is crazy good. Like the scenes with armed suits and Tachikomas, and most cars are pretty good. I love the Tachikomas in always, but in 2045 they're great.
Apparently, apparently only a few of them got the redesign. The ones that were still back at the Section 9 place still stayed the same thing. And Togusa is grateful for that, because the new ones have been built for actual cyborg use.
Yes, and there's 3 of them went with the major, which I'm going to assume are probably the so they haven't referenced Solid State Society at all in the continuity, but I can only assume that it is actually in continuity with 2045, just because that makes sense for Togusa's character art of continuing to be more of a workaholic. And that was also when he switched to an automatic, was in Solid State Society. And also, because obviously, slight spoilers if you haven't seen SAC, but as we just covered, it came out in 2002. It's fucking old. But in both seasons, the Tachikomas die. Which the scene in Barrage in the first season gets me every time, just when they play that music. Goodbye, my master. Just every time. But that's their whole thing. But in Solid State Society, the Major saved their AIs because that's what they did in Second Gig, and gave them digital forms which were individualized, gave them names, and then they got rebuilt bodies because the Uchikomas, I think was the military, or was it Fuchikoma? They've gone through like 3 or 4 different names. They at the end of Second Gig, they switched to the military model, which is not as cool and not as individualized as the original Tachikomas. But I'm gonna assume that in 2045, those 3 that are with the Major in Ghost, which is a pretty bitchin' name for your private military company.
They're a merc company that got hired out to America.
Yeah, which was weird, but I saw what they did with that, because Agent Smith, all that stuff. Like, they did a lot with the whole... there's a lot of undertones in 2045 about the relationship between America and Japan and the back and forth and stuff.
Yeah, they weren't really subtle with it either.
No, but the American Empire has never been subtle in Ghost in the Shell, because in case you guys don't know, which you probably don't because it's never really explicit, there's like 3 different Americas in the Ghost in the Shell world. There's the United States of America, which is very small. There's the Russo-American Alliance, which is like Alaska and some of the northern states. That's so old that in the 80s it was called the America-Soviet Alliance, the Soviet-America Alliance, but we had to fix that because some stuff happened. And then there's the American Empire, which is, shocking nobody, just basically the Republic base, and is the one that constantly invades South America for some reason. That's something I don't really understand about the politics, why people think that America wants to invade South America a lot. I don't know. No, we invade the Middle East for oil, devilish. But the sustainable war thing is very interesting. That is definitely about like resources.
Oh yeah, no. It's South America probably. I think South America still has a lot of mineral wealth. I think
possibly.
I'm not sure. Not really.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's probably just a holdover of, because like I said, when Ghost in the Shell was originally written in the 80s, the Soviet Union still existed, right? So I'm sure that was still a big deal because of the communism. Now I haven't heard shit about communism. I think there might... No, that's not wrong. There is, yes, that episode is all about communist terrorism. And it's a great episode. Great design. So much iconic stuff in Ghost in the Shell. But other than that, I think the major stuff we see with terrorism and stuff like that is usually stuff like the Human Liberation Front, the very classic episode, Not Equal, which... God, that episode is so good. I love it. That's the oil rig episode with the old lady. Not Equal.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of, I think, the most classic Ghost of the Shell standalone complex episodes, because it's infiltration, philosophy, action, and then deep philosophical implications at the end that make you just go, what the fuck? And then it's over.
I guess
2045, like I said, I feel like they missed some opportunities for some of the introspective scenes. They start to do that towards the third arc, basically.
Oh,
the third post-human. That's where we start getting a lot more brainy and weird. Dealing with think pole.
Yeah, I mean, they kept flashing 1984 everywhere.
Oh yeah, no, I feel like they're definitely harkening back to Standalone Complex because Standalone Complex has a shitload of references to Catcher in the Rye and J.D. Salinger because of the Laughing Man. So I feel like they're like they're really, especially with the way that kid looks, they're really banking on like almost like the harkening back to the original story, whereas the first... Okay, let me think about it. Thinking about the breaking, there's 12 episodes. Is it actually a clean divide, or are there 4 blocks of 3? I think there might be. Because there's the setup episodes, then there's what's his dumb name? David Huge? David Large? Something crazy like that.
Yeah, that was only like an episode or 2, though.
Yeah, but that kind of links together, and then there's the follow-up episode with the other guy who's in jail. That's basically a whole episode of the exposition. Then it's, okay, we're back in Japan, do stuff. And there's the boxing guy. And then it's...
also, I'm just going to say, I love it was almost a filler episode, but Bato just going to the bank was fucking great.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bato episode. I love that they gave Bato a characterization episode. That's a really good example of what you see in the bigger seasons of Ghost in the Shell, a standalone complex, where it's just like, that was totally a standalone episode. That was just... Bato has a day out, right? That's the same as like Machine Deserantes, where the freaking... Or was it Machine Deserantes was the other one? I don't remember what it's called. Was it literally called Tachikoma's Day Out? The one where one of the Tachikomas just fucking runs away. And that's the whole like first half of that episode is just, a Tachikoma was outside. But that's really good. Also, Bato is great in this.
I'm a cop. Let's rob this bank. That's basically the premise of it.
Yeah, well, Bato in general is interesting. It's interesting to see kind of his character evolution, because on the one hand, I said this before, listening to the dialogue spoken, especially with him getting all the actors back, a lot of it feels like dialogue straight out of the original standalone complex. Like, the delivery and everything is great. The Major's just dropping her big old speeches, which I think the one in episode 1 of 2045 is supposed to deliberately harken back to what she says in the cold open for the original standalone complex, where she catches a rando terrorist on a rooftop who doesn't matter. The guy's literally not important to the plot. The Major is just chilling on rooftops arresting dudes, but she gives him a life lesson speech, much like she gave those scrub lords who almost died in the opening of 2045. But there's a lot of those speeches, a lot going back and forth. I think the only thing that's different is that in this characterization, Bato is a lot more comfortable with his war face, basically. Mm-hmm. He really has just leaned in like, no, dude, my skills are in murdering people, so if people are okay, fuck it. I'll get paid.
Well, yeah, I think
do this because I'm good at it.
You definitely see that in like the first couple episodes, and when you think about it, they've been a PMC for probably like 15 years, and just going from sustainable war zone to sustainable war zone.
Well, not 15 years, because that would be 20. At least there's several years between there and between SAC and whatever. Sustainable war zone's new.
Yeah,
did they say when the crash was? Was that 2040?
I forgot.
I think it was 2040. I'm not sure. Somebody can double check me. But yeah, Bato definitely. You feel like they've been doing the PMC thing for a while, because that's the other thing about Section 9. They're constantly disbanded.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly disbanded. It's interesting to see, because while this one ends on a cliffhanger, it's still got a lot of very satisfying conclusions. That's something that's very weird about the end of the original standalone complex. It's very anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's just
there's I think there's 3 or 4 major resolution points, but they don't. Almost none of them go anywhere. The first climax is the Tachikomas learn self-sacrifice, which the major has a kind of cosmic revelation about it, which comes up later, but otherwise does nothing, other than that it's really heartbreaking and whatever. Then she and Bato have a deep-seated conversation about being cyberized, which is cool, but doesn't go anywhere because she gets shot in the face the next 5 minutes of the episode. But she's not dead. It's okay. It was remote. And everybody got arrested. Tokus is about to turn into another laughing man with his blue hoodie, and he's going to go shoot a guy, and that's really cool, but then they stop him, and then they go back to the office to do nothing. The Major has her final conversation with Aoi, the laughing man, but that does nothing other than... I mean, in philosophical terms, it's a great scene, because they discuss a lot of human concepts, and they discuss the standalone complex and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, the idea of copies without an original, the whole meme thing. It's very interesting, but it doesn't go anywhere because it's just like, hey, you want to join Section 9, kid? And he's like, nah, I like books. Yeah, you remembered books. And then the only thing I think that gets resolved is the bad guy does get arrested, but Section 9 doesn't get credit. And there's a scene where Aramaki stares him in the eyes as he goes away to get arrested. And they salute him, and it's like, I guess that's representing all the hard work we did, but we got beat up a lot, though. People die. Whatever. I think Second Gig is a lot better in that it has its plots together a lot tighter.
Yeah, well, but the second Gig's also a lot weirder on its philosophical front, though.
Well, yeah, Second Gig does a lot of different stuff, and I will say Second Gig has, I think, the weirdest standalone episode, Night Cruise, which is just an entire episode devoted to referencing Taxi Driver. It's very weird. Note that is Night Cruise, not Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise is the episode where Bato has his PTSD problem, which is, that's what I said, that was the interesting one to watch and then compare to 2045 Bato, because Jungle Cruise Bato is like, I don't want to go back to the jungle, but also I've never come back from that jungle kind of thing, right? Like,
yeah.
He's a lot more hard-assed and serious. I guess, I don't know. Maybe stopping being a government employee lets him loosen up or something. But I feel like his character in the original standalone is a lot more tense and tighter, and a lot more, like, he's still got a lot of his jokey elements, but when shit gets serious, he gets very hard-nosed about stuff. And also, he's really big on his crush on the Major. That's basically the length and breadth of Bato's character. He loves Tachikomas, he likes to box and lift weights for no goddamn reason, and he's just following around the Major because she's hot.
I mean, there are worse reasons.
Hey, yeah, there's worse reasons to get your ass kicked on a regular basis.
I mean, he gets to use big guns, play with the
technology. That is the other thing. When he gets a big gun, he loves it. Like, he has lots of fun when he gets to shoot some shit. The tank episode is great.
Like I said, like, after the Major, Bato is definitely my favorite character.
Yeah, Bato's always a lot of fun. So let's talk about a new character for 2045, because I'm really interested. What do you think about Prin? Though, before we get into it, though, I do want to say, this brings up an interesting point about, that's really weird, because I tried to search for her, because her design is really cute, and I'm like, I didn't see any art of her, did we draw that? This is the thing we maybe want to mention with Ghost in the Shell. It's really weird about how everybody's names are spelled and said. Like, Pazu is pronounced Pazu, but it's written Paz.
Yeah.
Boma is pronounced Boma correctly, but it is written Borma. Some people might think that Bato's name should be spelled French. Devilish has the correct Japanese spelling.
Yes.
One T, long O sound. But you could also see it being Bate with an EAU at the end. And add to this Prin, whose name in English is pronounced Prin, but is spelled Purin with a U and a double R.
Actually, I'm not surprised. I don't remember how they pronounce it in Japanese. Well, let me almost say this. Ameka watched it in English. I watched it in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Again, the English voice cast is awesome, I fucking love them because guess what? I first watched a standalone complex on Adult Swim.
Yeah,
but I also like the JP actors and actresses.
That's good. Like I said, I just
here's the thing.
Here's
the thing. I don't like honestly. You can put them on. Actually, now that I think about it, I could probably put it on in any language, and I'd be fine with it.
Yes, that's the one thing we should also say about 2045. The writing is the thing that really it's the same writer and director. The writing is on point all the way through.
Yeah,
like I've said, some of the compared to the older seasons, some of the pacing isn't always the best, or I think it's got a lot of we can do action probably. They can do action probably a lot simpler now with mocap and CG than whatever they did to do their beautiful choreography and hand animation. But it's still really good with a lot of writing, and it's on point, and it's that way even in Japanese, right? Like all the stuff is original. Like this fucking football gang. God, that's so
modern. Just modernizing.
In the sub, did they make a lot of dumb football puns?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's original. Fucking touchdowns, go for broke, get in the pocket. God. So weird.
Oh, here it is.
It's weird.
Well,
but yeah, so Kenji Kamiyama? I want to say, I'm bad with names. But he's been the director of Standalone Complex since the beginning and one of the major writers, so it's all got the same feel. But we were going to talk about Print.
So I like her. I liked her when I first saw her. I didn't know she was actually going to be a recurring character because you first see her on a fucking helicopter with Bato as he's about to go do basically JCVD.
Yes, they presented her, and it's funny because the next episode Bato runs into her, or is it the end of that episode? But anyway, he runs into her again, and he's like, "Oh, you're a real person. You weren't just like an AI secretary lady." Which actually, that's the thing I think that 2045 hasn't has they reintroduced? No, Aramaki was driven by a secretary android, I think.
And when Togasa went to the American, they had the 3 android secretaries.
Yeah, they did. But I was talking about it Section 9, because that's a big deal in standalone complexes, that they're just covered in AI ladies.
Yeah.
Like when they do their big hacking scene, literally I think there's 25 of them on computers. It's a little dumb. But
it's a little intense too.
But I could see why Bato would believe that, because Prin was, when she's first introduced, she is a very almost throwaway character where she's just so first time back in the city, how you doing? Where you going? I think the only thing that's it's interesting about her is that her talking about the modeling and the animations, her animation is very energetic. Again, I'm sure no-capped.
Well, here's the thing. I feel that Prin is here to fulfill the cute anime girl archetype.
Well, it's true. She is the only character besides the Major who has different colored hair, which I'm gonna guess is maybe dyed, but she could be a cyborg. It's not really established. But it is also 2045. Chicks be having pink hair. They have pink hair now.
She has the high cutesy voice. She has a lot of the moe points, and she completely overdoes her reactions.
Yes, her reactions are very exaggerated, like I said. She's got her glasses. Actually, I think even more so than just cute anime girl, I think she fits the fangirl archetype. Because she really likes Section 9 and Bato in particular, though she also is really interested in the Major's approval. So, dear Internet, where are my Major X put-in dojins? You know the Major would get in there.
Well,
the Major would slide into those DMs. She knows what she likes.
Oh yeah, well, she probably has to pass whatever major test she gives. Words. The major likes to be. What's the word I want to use? Sly, I want to say.
Yes. Also, at least the original standalone. Well, okay, it's not necessarily shy about the Major's sexuality per se. No. Yes, as Devilish Insider just said, the Major fucks. That is not in doubt.
No.
Wandering around in her skinny underwears. Her fucking safe house has a underwear collection where they do a great visual gag where Bato rolls into one of her closets, pops the bottom of a drawer, and he's looking at a collection of guns and grenades, and he's like, "Yeah, I knew the Major would have a stash around here." And then the top of the drawer is her underwear drawer. It's hilarious. But yeah, she has a collection of that. There's the episode Cash Eye in the second season where she hangs out with the weird robot pervert guys, where that guy from the first season comes back. Also, by the way, that one missed me a lot as a kid, but shout out shout out to one, to that guy, and two, to Standalone Complex for just flying that freak flag out there. This is a guy is a Japanese politician who swaps his brain case into geisha robots for funds while he's drunk.
Yeah.
That also lets him to get brain jacked, which is the first episode of Standalone Complex is so good. Like, I think the first two are all set up.
It's like, to me, like, they're super iconic to me of just the hostage situation.
The hostage situation is iconic, and then the oh shit, it was a setup and the solving it, which is solved by Togus' instincts. He figures out what's wrong and then reports it to the others, and the Major just plays the guiding role. Just like,
God,
if you're worried about hitting a hostage, you should get a prosthetic body.
God,
and then the second episode is Testation, which is the spider tank one, which is also iconic from start to finish. I think between those two episodes, you get a firm grasp on what all of the... Other than the fact that I think it's not until second gig where Boma is the EOD guy. But in those first two episodes, you get a firm grasp of what everybody at Section 9 does. Togus is a detective. Bato's the jokey guy. Oh, I think he broke. Paz and Boma are those two guys. Saito's the sniper. And the Major just has no defense reflex ever. As also seen in 2045, where there's a couple more times where Bato tells her not to do anything crazy. But the Major's just like, whatever, dude.
I'm gonna do it. I think the best one is when she literally goes to box the fucking boxer, and Bato has to come in with the fucking sign. It's like, what the fuck, Major?
Which is also really interesting because Bato is a boxer. That's a whole subplot episode, a standalone episode. He goes undercover to catch a Japanese spy who is an Olympic-winning boxer and outboxes him. It's pretty cool.
And the funny thing is he didn't use boxing against the
No, because he knows he's gonna get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And that's why he's like, Major, what the fuck were you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, there's, like I said, the Testation is iconic from start to finish. It's also got the one with the Major's weird wraparound look where she's like, what happened?
Oops.
It's a really good episode. But yeah, it's really interesting to see that one because she's like, oh, Bato, I knew you'd get in there. I just had to distract him by trying to box him.
Yeah.
Also, in that sequence, that learned to make me appreciate the new PM, right? Because I kind of missed Prime Minister Kanzuki. In second gig, she's a very, iconic character. We see her a lot. She has a lot of motivation and a lot of tie into the core arc. In the first season, the Prime Minister only shows up in, the last two episodes, and he's a real buttface. I'm glad that he gets ousted. Though, also, it's funnily enough, I think they talked about this later, that they probably made Prime Minister Kanzuki's design too young looking. She doesn't look very mature, considering she's the Prime Minister is a little weird, but it's fine.
It's fine. Well, no, because that was actually something they were harping on a little bit, is this American Prime Minister?
Yeah, that's a big underlying theme, because the Prime Minister is an expat from America who was an ambassador. He went to, I feel like that's almost a shout out to the Western audience, right?
Oh, yeah, no, he's
a literal weeaboo.
Yeah.
He was an ambassador, he went to Japan, he decided he loved it, he moved there, he married a Japanese woman, he has a Japanese name. I don't even know if he's supposed to be Asian, probably, but, it's really interesting to see that he loved the culture so much he decided to stay. And he's not lying about that either. He really does like it here.
Yeah.
Literally, a guy's about to punch his fucking head off, and he's just like, come at me, I love this country. Fight me.
He grieved when his, when shit went down with his wife, and, a lot of the underlying thing, it was people was wondering, is he just trying to sell out Japan to America? And he's all like, no, he's not.
And Aramaki has a great back and forth with him about asking for favors, and he's like,
yeah, I love that.
What's his line? In English, it's something like, I've learned from experience that begging only works when you're doing it from a position of power. So, Mr. Prime Minister, do you have any sway with the American government, or should I go to somebody else? Right? And that works because, apparently, the president of the American Empire loaned Aramaki his fighter jet so he could make a bitchin' entrance.
Aramaki, he doesn't do the fighting with guns.
He's too old for that, but you gotta remember, he's ex-military. He's ex-army intelligence, I think. That's why he has all his friends in high places. I'm not shocked that he knows how to fly a plane.
Nope.
He's a great character. I love the old man. I'm glad they're keeping him around, even though he's got to be super old now.
What level is his cyber?
I don't know. He's definitely got a cyber brain.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so
I'm just gonna fave this guess just because sometimes I just need Meter's butt in my face.
Mm-hmm. It's a good butt.
It's a good butt.
Though that is something I think we talked about with the design, is that the character designer's version of the Major is a lot
cuter.
Yeah, cuter. It is a little more kawaii. It's a little more streamlined, a little more feminine. The
Yeah, no,
original design for the Major is not that she's not womanly, but she's very much
Cool.
more on the thick side of things.
Cool,
where like,
handsome.
yeah, she's cool. She's cool. She's quite tall. Very long legs.
I don't know why you're saying Rip Major's butt. If there was a slider in their design team that said fucking Major's hip hop, they hit that shit to the max.
No, like I think the primary thing is that her outfits are also a lot more streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
And she's wearing, a lot. She's wearing the weird turtleneck body glove shirt leotard, all the time. Which I will say that's certainly more, especially with her jacket. That's certainly more skin concealing than season 1 goes in the shell. Which is her classic battle leotard no pants look. I'm gonna go at it with my jacket, my leotard, and my boots. She doesn't get pants until second gig, I think. Apparently, she likes them. But no, like I feel like her design is a lot more. It's a lot more streamlined and almost sporty, right? Whereas, as we said originally, the Major's look is very much like, nah, dude, she doesn't. Like I said, when we talk about the Major fucks, she's definitely out there with her sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And she is definitely banging those 2 weird ladies she hangs out with, one of whom is a nurse, but also, they don't ever... That's the thing I was going to say, is they're not subtle, but they also aren't explicit. Like, the Major never kisses anybody on screen. Any times she may or may not have banged are all like, did they or didn't they?
Well, because she separates work from play.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's the best way I can think of it.
Yes. But no, she's totally having weird lesbian threesomes with Rain and Curtin. Because literally when she goes to do her body swap, she gets her nurse sex friend to come along, and she looks at the specs of her new body, and she's like, oh, I'm getting hot just thinking about all the illegal stuff you could do with, like, all the stuff you could do with this. This is illegal, isn't it? I think that's why the Major has a government job, is just so she could put illegal shit in her body.
Yeah. I'm still laughing about the budget, where Major gives them a list. Is like, this is literally 10 times what I was thinking about. And Major just all like, give.
The Major's just like, listen, you want this shit to work? Trust me, I know. I've been doing this for years. Now, how much do you want to bet how much of that was just the Major's prosthetics budget?
Probably.
No, not all of it, though. A lot. I'm sure a lot of it was also we're going to need to rebuild all those Tachikomas, because we need those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're very important.
They are important.
And we do see a lot of them. It's only I think it's mostly only the 3 ones from the main, but they're very good, and they work them in a lot. One of them still busted up, and then got to fix him.
Oh, here's another thing I like about Pern. I like that she interacts with the Tachikomas.
Yes, she interacted with the Tachikomas a lot, because she's wearing the red jumpsuit of their tech team, which they never really established who those guys are, because the Major explicitly says that Prin and the others aren't specifically part of the team. They're not part of Section 9. I guess they're just government contractors then? They're part of the research wing or whatever? I don't know.
Something.
Because whenever Section 9 gets into trouble, those guys, of which there are like 3 or 4, are never in trouble too. I think maybe they're just from the company that makes the Tachikomas. Who knows? But yes, you're right. Prin fills the role of like a secondary, like, honestly, I feel almost like, I think somebody said probably appealing to a younger audience, but there's also, I think she's just meant there to appeal to a newer audience, period. Like,
yeah,
hey,
I get that.
Ghost in the Shell standalone complex is from 2002. There are people who are legally adults now who weren't alive when that show happened, I think. Yes, probably, depending on the timing. At the very least, they wouldn't have been watching it, right?
No.
So there are people who who didn't exist when the show came out, who exist now and are adults. And even then, there's plenty of young people who may not have seen it because it's quite old now. So I wonder if like a lot of the intros and stuff are supposed to be like letting you get a feel for these characters and having a point of reference character, because Prin gives you like, I almost feel like Prin feels like what Togusa's old role was, in that Togusa was the guy who was not super cyberized. He was just a beat cop. He's not, like, ultra high-speed, low-drag military stuff. So usually if, like, you had to be like, hey, look how cool Bato and the Major are, or, hey, look at what, what's this weird cyber-tech stuff we're doing, Togusa would often, ask the questions. But now Togusa's been doing this for, like, 15 years, so he's a veteran now. He's hardened, even though he's still the poor guy where all the weird shit happens to him. Oh, though this does remind me. I was just thinking about Togusa stuff because I was thinking about Think Pole. That was a weird one. Like talking about action scenes that are seem a little like the fact that they turned that into an action scene where the Major fucking anime fights internet people. That was weird. I'm not sure I'm 100% okay with that, but they've done weirder.
I mean, I think it was also kind of. I think, now I think about it, it really didn't move the narrative because they literally was like, nothing came of it, honestly, now that I think about it.
Yeah, because... it was just a flashy way to show off, one, protecting the Prime Minister, and then, I'm guessing the Major's hacking skills mostly, and, like, show off Section 9 again, but it was weird. It was really weird. Not that whole sequence isn't weird, but it's...
Well, Think Pole as a whole, I think, is very on point with going on with philosophy, with mob justice, anonymity.
Oh yeah, it's got some internet stuff.
But yeah, just the section as it was, I'm just like, I'm not sure here, you guys.
Yeah, I think the point was like to reinforce that like that wasn't justice because not a lot of people actually were on its side, and so that forewarned with the knowledge, the Major was able to actually get them to do the thing. Think Pole in the flashback is way more telling when they.
Oh, about the teacher.
When they kick the teacher's ass, but then that poor kid's spirit is immediately broken because all the students turn on the girl who committed suicide because stuff was happening. Very Persona stuff was happening.
Yeah,
and it's just like, damn, kids are vicious.
Like I said, like, honestly, like, to me personally, I want to say, like, they usually say, the 3 episodes is the setup, but I feel like everything was just a setup to basically this Think Pole superhuman.
Well, kind of. It's so this is another interesting thing I noticed. I got it wrong last week. I was trying to remember what colors were which. But in the original standalone complex, the blue background is for complex episodes, which are all of an arc. All of the intro cards for 2045 are blue, which obviously they don't actually do the complex or standalone split, but to me kind of sold the idea that, oh, no, these are all supposed to be one contiguous story arc. Which is what it is, right? Like, they come into mini arcs and stuff, but it's all building on the post-human thing. It starts with, okay, the Major and her friends are PMCs, they're fighting guys, they've got the good 1%er, they've got the American government. That turns into a whole thing. That gets them embroiled in a deep, dark conspiracy. Aramaki bails them out, they figure out what's going on, then they have the second episode with the post-human who hacks a touch coma that still hasn't procced yet.
I don't know if it's fully hacked. But who knows?
Well, they did something, and I'm like, that's my tiny gun-raising noise. I'm like, did you hurt a touch coma? I'll end you.
Do not hurt my precious children.
But that goes in. Then they return to Japan, and they have to hunt down 3. This is obviously like part 1 of a season, right? Because they set up a woman post-human who they haven't, other than showing some pictures of her, she didn't actually appear at all.
I think she showed up in the Think Pole area, like at the airport, but they didn't actually. Yeah,
like maybe there is some video footage of her. We don't meet her in person.
Yeah, we haven't met her in person.
We don't dive super deep on the boxing guy. I think that's like the plot of one singular episode. Was it? I think 2?
I think they're trying to because here's the thing, as I said, they have these transhumans here now. And with each transhuman, you realize that they're not exactly mindless, murder.
No, they do different things, right? Like,
and it escalates from one because you start with the robot guy who's just nothing like I'm gonna murder everything. Then you go to the army, to the retired army, who's like I'm trying to fire off nukes, but we're also doing this exposition. Then we go to boxing guy, who you realize actually has a purpose in hunting down specific.
Right, yeah, he has a specific drive, and then the whole point of the episode is the Major is like, I figured he's not completely like weird or whatever. I was able to reach him by making him remember his boxing muscle memory.
And then we get to the kid, who by all accounts seems like he's pretty human still, but he's now working on this weird, mysterious agenda.
Yes, the kid seems completely human and has, like, emotional memories and emotional ties, but also he has a shitload of real-life baggage because, holy shit, that kid's got a lot of backstory.
And again, so that's why I feel like they're saying every
And we escalate in terms of understanding them, too. Like, David Huge or whatever, is a complete outside of context problem. They go in to attack him. They have absolutely no idea what he's capable of, other than that he immediately backhacks Stan and puts him out of the fight, which is hilarious. And then he goes toe-to-toe in close combat with all the guys, and the Major tries to hack his brain, and that's really dumb, and she almost dies, and then Saito just shoots him. But this is the setup for the team to reunite. The military guy is crippled. It shows us their weakness. They shot him with ricochets, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also shows their persistence because he's able to do a fucking junk code virus. He just kills that poor nurse for no goddamn reason. He subverts the security and all that stuff, you know. And like you said, his big plan was to launch a nuclear missile. Because apparently the post-humans are behind sustainable war.
Yeah.
As something from somebody. And then the boxing guy is carrying out a one-man war. But he's, like, it's very personal, like you said, and he has personal ties. I will say one thing that is weird is I feel like with the post-humans, they combined all the antagonists of other Ghost in the Shells together. Like, they don't appear on electronics, just like Laughing Man could hack himself out of stuff. You know, they're crazy, resilient, and strong, which was a feature of several antagonists, you know, throughout the series. David Huge even had a giant mech suit, which kicked everybody's ass, you know. But they're also, like, because of their quality, they can be, like, really connected or really inside government and do a lot of weird manipulative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting to kind of see them kit bashing a lot of concepts together, and then the hook is like, oh, well, now there's just a shitload of them, and we don't know how many there are. And we don't know why they exist or what they do. But you're right, that the kid is the most complex, but that's because we see his POV a lot. They do a lot of work.
Fucking Airborne Ranger, like how they just slowly explain everything, just...
Yeah, they start by being like, nah, this kid's just weird, and then they like, oh, no, he's just a kid who's undergoing a lot of psychological stress. And something weird happened to him, so he's just weird.
Yeah. So, again, I am super, super bummed that we didn't get both.
It's weird.
Yeah. I'm super bummed about this, y'all.
But and also I think it's because the kid is a programmer, right? An amateur programmer. He developed ThinkPol, and he developed his nostalgia program, which was really interesting.
I'm trying to remember, I'm not sure, did he develop ThinkPol after he developed ThinkPol after...
Yes, he had the weird incident, and then he was like, I'm going to do something about this.
But, if I remember, he was developing a game when he went to his relatives, because that's when he first met the girl.
Yes, his cousin, I think, but she calls him brother. So
yeah.
It's that kind of relationship. And then,
Tragedy.
But also, that's where the kid gets introduced to 1984, and that's... Like I said, they lean heavily and they're like, nah, dude, this dude read 1984, Thought Police, George Orwell, that's the freaky thing, 1984 is still relevant today.
That is.
Like, arguably, if you think about it, Ghost in the Shell is really on point for other... now, I don't know if the technology will match, but, though some of it will. We already have a lot of the thermal optic camouflage and stuff techniques. We have a lot of that. We're working on a lot of drones and drone warfare. The question is just, will we understand the human brain enough in those 10 years? Probably not, but we'll see. Just because every time we think we're getting closer to understanding the brain, we're not. It's really weird. But it's... Because the original standalone complex, they have an episode literally titled Meme, before internet meme culture really took off. That's what the Laughing Man is. And in fact, the Laughing Man is a meme on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
He became a meme. His dumb logo, his lines, all that stuff. They were so iconic that they became a meme in real life, but that was what that was founded on. You know, the standalone complex is just that, right? It's almost like a copy pasta or a meme without an origin. Because as Aoi explains in the end of Standalone Complex, I wasn't even really the original Laughing Man. If you want to find the original Laughing Man, it's the guy who wrote this letter that I don't even know who he is. I just stumbled across it somewhere, and I was like, damn, son. But that's also a lot like WikiLeaks and Edward Snowden and stuff, right? Leaking stuff to the public so that they can decide, kind of thing. and lots of other aspects of it. You know, there's a lot of media manipulation in Ghost in the Shell, which, you know, we know now, the whole fake news thing. It's really telling. And, like, I don't want to give 2045 too much credit in that, because obviously that was made now. So, when, like, the think poll internet mob justice, that's just referencing a real thing. Like, that is just a way of updating and almost like a Twilight Zone or a Black Mirroring a concept we have in real life, because that is what happens when people go against you. Like, if you get you get canceled on Twitter or whatever, like, people will get a run, and it really will get you. And sometimes it doesn't even need to kill you. It just, like that Yakuza guy who his client list was leaked, and so he got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Mob justice.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. Though it is also interesting to see the old aesthetics. They still use the weird eye goggle computers thing and that dumb hats.
I think that's fine. That's the
aesthetic. It's still funny to see and think that like okay, so the phones are now smartphones. That makes perfect sense, because no, we're not going to do away with the smartphone aesthetic. And I think and honestly, like, the storage media is a lot, like, a couple times in Standalone Complex. They call them seeds, but they're basically little tiny chips. They're about the size of a micro SD, and you can fit a lot of data on there. That's believable. Like, at one point, Pazu tucks a data chip into his cigarette, butt, and stabs it out in the thing so that a guy can unwrap it. And I'm like, no, that's believable. You could fit a micro SD in there.
Yeah.
And you could fit a lot of data. They're up to like 1 terabyte and stuff. It's interesting always to see that. Let me check the clock. How long have you been yelling about Ghost in the Shell? About an hour. Sounds about right. The music is another thing, since Axe mentioned music about something else, but the music in 2045 is still really good. It's not quite the same, and I think we talked about this last week. The ED, really, really good. The OP kind of sucks.
I'm sorry.
It's just not on theme, and I know that it's hard to catch the theme, but it's not Inner Universe, or especially not Rise, which is hella iconic. Did you know, Lucky, that there is literally a Pixiv tag for that pose in Rise where all the members of Section 9 are in trench coats are standing in a row?
Really?
Yes, that's literally a Pixiv tag. That shot is so iconic. But yeah, Rise is a really good one. So the new one, nah. But
like I said, Inner Universe I think is my first. Rise is real good, but just between the two. I think it's because probably
Inner Universe is very, very, very iconic in its own way too. I think I like the tone and beats of Rise better, but that's just me as a music fan. Like, both of them are hella iconic for different reasons. Yeah. But the overall score to 2045 I thought was pretty good. Like I mentioned this in the first episode, they have an action scene where there's just some guy going apeshit on the saxophone. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, this is jazzy. This is good. They have I think the right mix of the music, because that's watching back at the first season of Standalone Complex. The music beats are so important. Like, they've got jazzy themes, they've got rockin' themes, they've got some techno stuff. They'll get some chorus, some choir in there when they need to. Like I said, when it's literally only for that one shot, but Goodbye My Masters with the Touchcoma Sacrifice is like boom. Like it's an epic theme that just hits all the beats. Run Rabbit Junk we talked about is really good. A lot of the big action stuff. And then Second Gig, there's completely different ones that they add, which are great. I Can't Be Cool, which is the Major's leitmotif. Oh, it's such a good soundtrack. Such a good soundtrack. And actually, I listened to that soundtrack a lot. It's funny, but watching 2045 and
did Yoko Kanno work on it? Yeah, she
on 2045. No, I don't think so. But yes, Yoko Kanno was the music for the original Ghost in the Shell.
Okay,
that's why it's so goo.
Yeah. I know she worked on the first two. I was just like,
it's a shame, but we work with what we got. I don't know what Yoko Kanno's doing right now, even
being old,
probably. Well, that's the question with like a lot of iconic composers who are older. Like, there's always talking about like John Williams. Like, some of his later soundtracks weren't so good. Was that just because he's old and not up to it, or what? He got a couple of zingers in those Star Wars, but it's a thing. You got to sometimes find your own feel. I think that while I couldn't necessarily name any of the songs by heart from 2045, I do feel like the music hits the right tone, at least, right? Like, it's still on theme. And I'd pick up a soundtrack and look at it. You never know.
I totally would too.
But I was mentioning this, that I listened to the soundtrack because oddly enough, well, maybe not oddly enough, but I don't know if you read it because it probably got buried in tabletop, but I was inspired by watching Ghost in the Shell to write more of Poison 7.
Oh no, I did see that you do that.
Did you read the new section?
I did read it.
No, but like the music really got me into that, and it kind of makes sense because they're ultimately aiming to be similar things. Where Poison 7 is supposed to be an ensemble cast, but like that's a really good fit, like for the music themes. I liked it a lot.
Can I only run one at a time?
Run one at a time.
Oh, I found a couple junk turns, and I was going to use them for base defense, but it looks like only one of them is being active at a time. Only one at a time? Okay. Well, that just means I have a backup. I'm gonna stick it in the house in case nothing needs to be shipped.
Oh, right. Various people are watching you.
Yeah. I changed the settings. The big wave shouldn't come until I think 2 weeks in.
I feel like that's very typical. A lot of people do that when they're doing the game. They adjust it so that the big seventh day wave doesn't occur on the first one because you don't have enough time to do dick all.
Yeah. No, I've been like running around. You see this shit? This shit is basic bitch as fuck. I should actually upgrade these lower blocks. Like I said, when I made this, I dumbed down a lot of things so we get more experience. They do less damage to blocks. I do more damage to blocks.
Yeah, there's a lot of that is something I remember even in early access, which I don't know, 7 days might still be technically early access. I think it's 1.0. But back in the earlier days, that was the thing that they were very good at was they gave you lots of customization options for your servers and stuff, so you could, if you didn't want to deal with certain things, you could swap it around. You could gain experience faster, work on stuff faster.
It has a skill system, Max, but I'll show you the skill system when I'm leveling up. I got things to do!
Also, let's not to distract the entire episode by doing stuff, though we are in a lull right now. Lucky, do you have any things you want to say about 2045? Still, that we didn't already cover?
Well, I said, I want to know, like, did they only produce, like, one season? Is Netflix holding out just to drop it later so they can maximize viewers?
I think, because they said they were doing 2 seasons, they're confirmed they're doing the second one. I don't know if it was just a production thing where they split them into 2 seasons for production regions so that they could do, like, one now and then one, like, in the later half of this year or early next year or whatever. I don't know. I don't know, maybe they wanted to make sure that they split it into production seasons so they could get it all produced faster so they could put out the first part, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, again, like, I wish we were one of those guys who could actually, call up a studio and say, like, hey, why'd you do this? And they tell us.
Yeah, I'd love to ask somebody and be like, hey, I super love 2045. What was the decision that led to you basically splitting it into 2 parts? Because both of the previous standalone complex seasons are, I think they're 26 episodes. They're full. They're beefy.
Yeah, no, you want to sit down and watch season 1 and season 2? You're gonna dedicate a day to that?
Yeah, I actually had to dedicate several days because I could only do so many at a time. I had to do shuffling. But yeah, it's definitely an experience, and like I said, you can watch them. You can watch all the originals free on Adult Swim right now. Go check it. They're pretty good, which is also really good because my DVD is a little goofed up on one of them.
You say at least June 30th, but I'm like, no, now give. Devil Cedars talking to at least brand new animals dropping June 30th.
Oh, that's what that stands for.
Yeah, it's the Trigger's new anime.
I've seen a lot of the stuff in the thing, but
Oh yes, I did load. I did load it. I pick it up.
Okay. Are they? So actually, that's another good question. Speaking of Trigger and Netflix, that's what they did with Little Witch. Was they for production in Netflix? They split it into 2 halves so they could do all the dubbing at once. Maybe that's what Netflix planned to do, but then COVID delayed the other languages packs.
Maybe
like they broke it into 2 discrete chunks so they could get their dubbing done faster. Because that is the thing that Netflix likes to do is they like to have all their language options out when it comes out. Like that's why they waited on stuff like Apocrypha and so on. Like they made sure that they have all their different languages and all their different dialogues out. And I should say there's nothing necessarily wrong with that approach. That's just very weird to anime fans because that is not usually the style of how we do anime, because anime is still usually produced week to week on TV.
Yes.
At the very least for Ghost in the Shell, you can say that it is, I believe, because it's a Netflix original, I'm pretty sure it is Netflix exclusive, so at the very least they did it all at once.
Yeah.
Like Be the Beginning, which by the way, there should be a second season of sometime. They confirmed it.
Eventually.
I hope it goo. Be the Beginning was, we both watched that. That was good, but it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
It got a little too esoteric in the end, I think. Like, I liked the show, and it had some good animation in a lot of places, but it was, parts of it were very weird and esoteric, but that happens a lot with certain, it had very anime-esque parts of it, I'll say, or literally very anime-like.
Well, I said, it was a supernatural mystery, pretty much, so...
Yes, but like I said, it definitely, like, the anime tropes of, like, oh, that kid who's the secret protagonist kid that nobody realizes who he is, and he just works in the background quietly while we solve mysteries. That's a very anime thing, right? Like, we have a young protagonist who's off on his own, and then we have all the cops doing cop things, and they don't even realize that guy's the same guy. Reminds me of Darker Than Black.
That's very on point, yeah.
And some other series.
Give me that back.
There's literally one summon ticket left in the blue ladder, and that's all I want. I'm gonna give up after that, because I'm tired of punching this boar and these guys. But, yeah, okay, so we've talked a little bit about anime. Unfortunately, I was too sleepy today. I'm not caught up on Hamafuda. I was gonna watch it earlier. I wanted to, but I had a really weird thing happen. I think I had too much caffeine yesterday. I had more than usual. Really? So I was up super late playing children's card games, as usual for me. But I got up to the point and I was like, oh, now it's late, so it's early in the morning. Oh, I'll probably go to bed really easy. I'll relax and go to bed. So I didn't, like, sometimes I take a melatonin, that's the hormone that makes you sleepy, so you'll get real sleepy and you'll sleep pretty solidly. But then I didn't sleep because I thought, I don't want to take a melatonin. It's already really late and I'm tired. That usually goofs me up and makes me drowsy the next day. So I just didn't sleep for some extra hours. So I'm like a little behind today. I woke up late and I've been a little groggy.
Oh, hey, there's a table saw. This is destroyed. Give me a fucking. Oh, here.
So I'm not caught up on that, but I'm planning on it. It's on my radar. I'll catch up again. Ooh, I feel a sneeze coming. Hold on.
Well, wait. But yeah, like I said, I don't understand. Like talking about. Oh, sweet, an iron shovel. I've been looking for one of these. Last thing on Netflix and things. It's like, yeah, I don't understand why they do it, and shit. And personally, like, and that's the biggest weakness for Netflix for me is for something that is supposed to be, binging. It's like they seem to sometimes do the opposite of that, in my opinion. Ooh, mining.
Well, I think ultimately everything is binge focused, but that means that sometimes they do weird stuff because they want the product to come out, because the longer they delay, the more likely you're like just go like, well, I could just witchcraft this. Like, that's already an issue with anime, that you can just slurp it up on witchcraft. And then
whoa, fuck you.
And I think Netflix's style is that they don't want to break how they organize things just for anime fans, because they're huge right now and they have a lot of watchers. They don't necessarily want to go out of their way to do things different for just anime fans, rather than and then confuse their normal audience who could stumble into anime and go like, hey, why the fuck is there only one episode? Oh, this is airing on like live TV? Well, why am I doing that? This is Netflix, you know?
Actually, I'm wondering how they do it in Japan.
I think so. For other markets, at least for some other markets, they do it week by week. But I think that may just be because of different demographics. I don't know. That's the thing. I'd love to ask Netflix about their model, because I do feel like that, like the number, like even with Crunchyroll or Funimation or whatever, like while they can be exclusive, those aren't innumerable hurdles. Like, most people can either just suck up the cost or they'll deal with ads or whatever, right? Yeah. Like, you can witchcraft them, but they're still very accessible. Netflix is, I think, the most vulnerable to witchcraft the model, because they just don't do anything while it's airing. They just sit on it. And it's like, that's the thing that's like, well, there's not even nothing, right? Like, you just have to deal with it. But also, it could just entirely be that Netflix looks at the numbers and they go, oh, well, those people don't actually stop paying for Netflix when they pirate the anime, if they pirate it. So, yeah, by the way, that's what witchcraft is if you're new here. It's our universal allusion to piracy. It's either fly on the colors or witchcrafting.
Yep.
Which I think that's an FGO thing, because in the community they talked about
I think it was Albert who first said if you use witchcraft or something.
Yeah, that's right. Albert talked about because he was referencing the fact that there's a shitload of Fate stuff or Type Moon stuff in general. It's not officially available in the Americas. So if you used some kind of witchcraft to try this stuff out, and then we were like, "Oh well, Albert, you said something funny. We're never gonna forget this one." And we've been keeping it alive.
Food.
But yes, animals. So Ghost in the Shell was one of the big things I wanted to talk about. The other big thing I was thinking of was that you're an absolute madman.
I don't know why people say that. Because I was actually thinking about it, like, Omega, you might not realize this, but you've been playing a lot of children's card games.
I mean, yes, but that's still only, a lot of that's still only for a few hours a day. Like, I mean, and technically this week I streamed more because you basically took your day off because you were very, very tired. Much like I made the thumbnail yesterday because you were like, dude, my arms are literally tired. And I'm like, okay, I'll make a dumb thumbnail. And people, I think, appreciate it. It's got jokes in it.
Jokes.
So I did an extra double stream, which yes did involve playing some extra children's card games, but you were really focused on kicking down Persona 5, like just getting that done with.
Yeah,
and you went pretty whole hog on it. You went all the way out of your way to get a lot of your social links up or your confidants up to all rank, and then do the new content, and then just I have a general question, which is just so does the new semester just fly by, or did you just spend that much time on it?
It does kind of fly by. You basically get the equivalent of one extra dungeon length worth of time.
That's not a lot.
No, so you get you have your setup, which springs you into it. Then you have the palace reveal. You do some stuff, and then you have 20-something days. And it's one of the dungeons where you have to act where everything happens on the last actual day, so you don't have to worry about sending the calling card.
Well, that's good at least, because that always feels like a wasted day.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's 20-something days, and I'm not gonna lie, here's the. Oh yeah, Devilish, I agree with that. I kind of wish that they kept the original ending themed vibe, but
well, yeah, the ending of the original Persona 5 ending, which ends on Christmas, you saving Christmas, is very iconic. But also, at the same time, the epilogue of that, the denouement, is very abrupt and very shenanigansy, right? Where it's just like, hey, cool, you won. The game is now over. Nothing happens. We're gonna let you do a Christmas date, and then we're gonna skip until Valentine's so you can have that day, and then we're done.
Well, no, not the end. I'm not talking about the ending of that. I'm talking about the actual.
Oh, the actual climax at the end. Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
where in the original game, everyone piles up into the van, and you're gonna go have one last hurrah. Everyone's gonna take a fucking road trip.
Well, yeah, the ultimate decision is that slight spoilers for P5, I guess, if you haven't beat it or whatever. But the original ending is Joker goes to juvie for a little bit because he's got to reveal that he broke his probation that you've been under the whole time. So that you can get the bad guy and everything. Then you get out, and then after doing a little bit of housekeeping stuff, you're basically, okay, your semester is over. Joker needs to go back home. All your friends decide they're going to take a Phantom Thieves road trip to instead of just Joker takes a train or whatever back home.
So I'm going to spoil this for you. I'm not going to spoil everything, but the ending scene of Persona 5 Royal is Joker takes a train home.
Interesting.
And they have a
choice.
reason for this. They have a reason for this. I don't want to spoil that because it's part of the whole, a second awakening thing. It's really red in here. That's that's a big zombie. This requires gun. Fuck this. And so, so it's not. Axe again.
Axe, you're not even playing P5R. I'm gonna delete your message, and if I had a mallet, it would be squeaky, but I would boop you on the snoot.
This room is really red, and it's kind of freaking me out.
Is it in the preview? No, it's not. I can't see it. Because if I go to watch your stream, there'll be a shitload of news. Or noise. Not news, noise. But yeah, we're avoiding specific spoilers because, one, I'm still in Saya's palace because, man, I forgot that one's a motherfucker. You gotta do a lot in that palace.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, Axe, everything is spoilers. If you talk about something that people don't know, it's a spoiler. That is how it works, Axe. Don't talk about future shit that people haven't seen.
I hear zombie. Oh, wait.
If you explain or talk about a circumstance, that's a spoiler because you didn't experience it yet. I know you don't have a spoiler reflex because you just talk to people about shit in the future. But for people who actually play and enjoy content, so I'm getting spicy with Axe, but he's bad about the spoiler thing. He just needs to stop thinking out loud to people who aren't done yet. Save your conversations for people who just read ahead. Yeah, it's at least a year for statute of limitations on spoilers. It's at least a year. And it doesn't count because it didn't come... Actually, the year hasn't passed anyway, but also the JP release doesn't count either. The spoiler moratorium doesn't end at this Halloween. I believe a year is their usual safety rule. But there's also... Well, yeah, one, there's the... If you know explicitly somebody hasn't finished the game, don't just say stuff about it. Well, we've had this conversation with Right Lucky, where we talk about you always have to be careful because you don't want to spoil stuff, but also it's weird if you're talking about concepts that are obviously old.
Yeah,
like we talked about.
Well, even
I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not you've seen something. If somebody is a complete Star Wars virgin, I'm not going to tell him that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. That's a big fucking deal.
Like, if someone says, "Yeah, I just watched Star Wars. I haven't watched Star Wars. I decided to it. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut." It's like, I hope you enjoy this journey you're about to go on.
Right, like if somebody told me that, like, oh, I've just started Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, I would not start talking to them about the end of that season. Hopefully, if those people exist, they didn't listen to us. But also, at the same time, we were like, we can talk about spoilers because it's from, like, 2002. That's fine. But that's because we were having a conversation, there's wrong, Axe. You're wrong. That you're just wrong. Axe says the difference between wanting to talk about situations and trying to remove a gut punch for a good moment. That's wrong, though. That's spoilers are not just gut punches or twists. Like, that's just like, well, okay, I don't want to know because I want to see and form my own opinions, because people become biased the moment you tell them something. Now, luckily for some people, they forget stuff or put stuff out of context. I'm usually pretty good about, like, I'll even spoil myself sometimes just to read ahead and get a wider context, because true twists are rare. Like, true, oh my god, I can't believe that's the thing twists, like Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. Those are rare. But at the same time, and some stuff you want to go back and experience again after you know the truth. But in generally, no, you are altering people's perceptions when you let them know something, no matter how minor you think it is. And obviously, like you said, I'm going to spoil it for you. He said something that's not really super deep spoiler. Like, honestly, I can look at that and say, okay, that doesn't necessarily change my perception going into it, but it is interesting that you said that. I will keep that in mind as I play through and see what leads up to it. If he also spoiled the context, there's nothing for me. I've learned it all. There's nothing there to see. And
that's why I'm saying Axe, because what you said basically leads in to what.
Yeah, you expand it a step, which is not good. When thinking about spoilers, do not elaborate ever unless somebody tells you to elaborate. That I think is the key rule to having a spoiler discussion. Is if you know shit and other people don't know shit. Like, Lucky just dropped, okay, I'm gonna kind of spoil something on you. I'm like, okay, fine. But then he's like, I'm not gonna elaborate past that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's good. Nothing has been revealed yet. But if you start elaborating, that's the danger zone. And then there's some stuff that where it, and then it's you have to play this by ear, but then there's some cases where, for depending on the person or depending on the subject matter, it really doesn't matter. There are some things that you can completely tell the ending of, and it's just like, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't do anything. But in that case, those are stories where it's a lot more about the journey than the destination. But I feel like, especially because this is new content, P5R is definitely somewhat about the destination. Well, yeah, you mentioned that earlier, but that also makes sense because Arena is a direct follow-on from P4 and P3, technically. And obviously, they don't mention any of the golden shit at all either. Until I think P4 Arena Ultimax, where that was after Golden came out. So, there were DLC characters who were in Golden, but that was it. Anyway, you were talking about P5's ending segments.
Yeah. So shit, where was I going about there?
I don't know. You were talking about the time date and kind of the lead in, all that stuff.
So yeah, the ending I don't like. I like the original P5 ending a lot better. But like I said, the ending makes sense in its grand context. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm having the opinion of, I know what you did here, and I know why you did it. I still don't like it.
Right, and that can happen too when you change stuff. Yeah. Like, you have to explain stuff. Like, and it does kind of feel like they're building up to stuff, which I'll see. I'm sure. I just have to blast through all the stuff.
Like I said, like, honestly, I think I had an easier time because I did some grinding. Because, if everyone doesn't know, fucking Ryuji gets an ability that lets you just insta-kill enemies.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
In P5R, it's pretty bullshit.
It is pretty bullshit. You literally like if you highlight them if you highlight them and they show green, you can just literally sprint into them and Joker will just
And honestly,
take
it doesn't
them
even
out.
have to be if they're green. If it's green though that they're there, it is 100% guaranteed you are strong enough to instant kill them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not every time, so you can choose to activate it. But if you sprint into the enemy, they die, and you get EXP money and a persona, which I think the original instant kill happened automatically whenever you ambush somebody low level, and it was just you got a persona. I think.
Yeah, I think.
Or if you got like EXP and money rewards, they were super low.
More space. So, and here's so one, there's that ability. Two, in Mementos, you can now modify it so you can get up to like double experience money.
Great feature.
And so, and here's the thing: to do that, you have to get. I have to pause here for a moment so I can think. You have to find these star stamps, which appear like one appears per level, but trust me, there's more.
There's mandatory one per floor at the end, but also most of them will
just random. So a lot of the times,
and sometimes you have to double back.
Yeah. So I have literally spent like 4 or 5 hours in Mementos just going up and down, just driving Morgana into enemies while making the car purr. While making the car purr and yell at me. Because shame on whoever said that this feature was in Persona 5, because apparently it wasn't. But it
would make sense because P5R is designed for PS4, which has the touchpad.
Yeah, I want to get rid of that. That's why I got this.
But yeah, you speed grinded, which I should probably take some time for because you've been talking to me like, oh, whatever, I'll just fuse and I'll just resummon everything. I'm like, meanwhile, I'm hip deep inside Palace, and I'm like, I have like 90,000 yen right now. I can't afford to keep going.
Like, and see, that's what I find weird is because like at Size Palace, I had like 2 million yen, and I'm just like. Whatever.
No, well, yeah, you definitely pre-did the thing where you already went crazy with insta-kill grinding already.
Yeah,
I have not. I've done it a little bit, but I do that in pursuit usually of, like, getting stamps or getting other things, and then...
I'll just come back and grab this.
How very rude of you. No, I don't think I get, like, 90k per fight.
90k what? No,
I'm not full of stamps, you know? Like,
even,
I'm not...
Even with stamps, I get, like, maybe, like, 10 to 12k... yen, but I'm just constantly running into things. I become zen with fucking the bus.
Yeah, and when you're doing that run, you can actually. And I'm probably when I get done with Size Palace because I can't finish it right away, I will have to go back to Mementos for reasons and get stuff. But then I can finish my because I have to maintain my work-life balance, guys. Where I'm talking to the audience now, where I have to okay, well, I have to cut out a day to go to Mementos, and then I have to do all the stuff, and then I gotta come back. And then, it's, also you say per mini-boss fight. What mini-bosses am I fighting? Those are limited, They're not infinite. What am I, farming Reapers down here? I'm not, by the way. That's a really redonkulous high level. That's a fucking 1%er strat there, farming Reapers. It's sad because sadly they took away the shenanigans version of it. You can't just get him in flu season now.
I did beat the Reaper because I will say I was able to do a platinum trophy in one run.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. But like the Reaper, I learned only does one fucking thing. It does concentrate, and then it does Megalodion, the severe version. Was it severe?
Yeah, severe's the highest because it's not the super ultra. The almighty damage would be something special, I think, if you go past severe.
So, and it just does that every single fucking turn. So I'm just like, let me just put a healer on here, and I'm just gonna just punch it with whatever I feel like. But as I said, I think I was like level like 80 or something.
Honestly, interestingly enough, I'm more focused on EXP than money, because like some people said, oh, I maxed out money first. I'm like, okay, I can see that strategy. I didn't do it that way. I'm more focusing on EXP and then money and items last. Because that's if you have higher levels, you need less money basically because it doesn't cost you money to fuse personas and stuff. Because that is one reason why I am lower in money is because I have definitely doled out some cash to Igor to be like, hey dude, this persona is like 5 levels too high for me. Can I just fuse it anyway? Because I really need the spread, or I'm trying to complete strength or whatever. So like,
let's see. I'm trying to like,
and I don't know. I'm curious. Where have you only put your money into fusing personas? Because
no, like here's the crazy thing. I didn't buy personas higher than my level. I that's one of the things I just did not do.
Okay. I have done that a lot.
Yeah,
starting
like,
at Gomer's Palace.
Like I like my most of my because here's the thing, like because like as I said, like this is how bad it was. I started learning how to instant kill just all the enemies like super early. So here's the thing, I just kept getting fucking persona after persona after persona, and every time, and because I was killing them so quick and so often, I was always getting fusion alarms.
Right.
So anytime I got a fusion alarm, I'd be like, all right, let me go to a safe room. I'll pop back, go do some fusion alarms, item some things, have something weird, and when I wanted to make like new ones, usually because here's did you use your network? Do you use your network fusion a lot?
When I unlocked it, yeah, I'd make sure to do it. Pretty.
Yeah, because like here's the thing, like I learned
you can only
that,
do that once per in-game day.
Yeah, but basically once every in game, I would just make a new persona that I could reach at my level because the list isn't the same. If you select one persona, you can see the list. You can go back out, select a different persona. They'll have their own unique list. You can go back out of it and then go into the end.
You can keep cycling it. Yeah.
So I would cycle until I get a new persona and then just be like, all right, this one, and then so I don't have to worry about like pulling out another persona out of my own storage. And sometimes I get some weird ass shit because fusion alarm. So
it sounds like you definitely found like you're not spending a lot of money doing persona stuff strat and also getting a shitload of money from just insta kill farming, which I am doing too. But also it's interesting to see the way the levels jump. Like I haven't been to Mementos in a while because the game keeps. I am in that period of the game where the game keeps not letting me do stuff. Mm-hmm. So like I had to literally take a day out of my palace run and be like, no, actually, kids, we're not going to the palace today. We're going to Mementos because I didn't have a chance to unlock this floor. I need you to let me go to Mementos, and then after I'm done with the palace, we'll go back because I have to unlock tower and all that stuff with the shoots and beat that one up, all that stuff. But I'll go back there, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of money. But the problem for me is that when you're in a palace, that's actually a bad place to make money. And I've spent a lot more time in palaces than in Mementos. I usually like spend one day in Mementos, get all the way to the bottom, and go back. Omega is maximizing his time for stat growth and social. Yeah, I've done that before. I've literally done that where I'm like, they're like, huh? You want to turn off the alarms? I'm like, yeah, I don't have anything to fuse right now. I'm just gonna back out or whatever. I try to alternate, but then it's just like, okay, I only have 5 personas and I don't want to itemize any of them and I don't want to spend like 10k of my money, we're getting a persona I don't need back basically when I can just go back outside and punch more personas. So yeah, I'm in a weird way right now where I did not pre-buff my money because I basically jumped into this part of the game because I'm trying to get all my shit in order. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to hit 10s in all my guys before the thing ends. I don't know. I could. Because once all your stats are maxed, I've got Chihaya to 5. I'm pretty sure I can just kill my afternoons by going, Chihaya, give me bond juice.
Oh no, here's the thing. It doesn't take an afternoon.
Oh fuck, it's free? Oh, they did. Yeah. That's so good. Bless you, Atlas. Thank God you unfucked her. That was the problem with her confidant the first time, was that it took up time.
You can only do it once per day, but you can do basically every single one of her fortunes.
Oh, thank God. That's great. Oh, that'll help me max out my last couple stats too. Yeah. Actually, it might just be kindness.
Going to Meiji Shrine does the same thing, but going to the shrine actually does take time.
Yeah, I don't have the shrine trophy. I figured shrine would take time. I still haven't done it because I don't have any free time. It's interesting always to see everybody's time breakdown. I might have to do a do-over run because I think I didn't do my time great, but that's okay. Like honestly, I'm okay with that.
Like I said, you get the extra days at the shit.
Yeah. So Kasumi is at 5 right now. She's as max as she can get. My Akechi is only at 6, but I'll just spam him through the free month basically until it stops, because it's plot related. And I've got Counselor at 9, so I'm pretty set on the new shit. I just need to actually beat this palace, which, like I said, I forgot. All the other palaces were pretty smooth going. I forgot how much of a move Sae's palace is. Mm-hmm. Where it's just like, okay, so you go to the player's floor. No, because I couldn't talk to him. You can't talk to him at all through the Okamura month. Mm-hmm. And if the game literally cuts him off there, that's shitty. That's really shitty of them to do that whole thing and then stop him. But lucky you said that you can go back to hanging out with him after you put him in the team, right? Like he's free again. Yeah. So I'll just hit him up then. But yes, as Loth says, Science Palace is a bit of a slog, because I forgot that it's like, oh yeah, so you go to the player floor. Well, now you gotta do the dice game. Now you have to go through the whole back room of the dice game. That doesn't give you nearly enough points. Now you gotta go do the other room, which I'm on now. I'm about to start the slots room. And I'm just like, God, I gotta take a break. Because I've been back here for like 2 hours, punching shadows. And also, there are some there's some fucking shadows back here. Fucking Scotty. God,
Scotty, I actually lost a couple times to Scotty.
I got close. I had to run. So in case you don't know, Persona Scotty, as an enemy shadow is, no, X, it's not a good time. This is an enemy, because remember, P5 is back to enemy shadows or personas now. Yeah. She doesn't have any weaknesses, just resistances. And she's got a shitload of HP, and she's got, AoE, Ice, and Curse, I think. The highest level. It sucks. It sucks bad. Well, yeah, I'm just reminding you, because you're like, ooh, blah, 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 good time. I'm like, no good times here. Only bad. I got plenty of straw dolls. That doesn't matter. The thing is that it's just damage, because remember, also in P5, they brought back Curse and Bless damage types. But she has no weaknesses, is the thing. And she will spam high-level damage, which means you gotta watch what you're doing, and it's rough, because she's a chunky. She and Ganesha are the big boss.
Ganesha is weak. Is Ganesha weak to something? I forgot.
Ganesha is weak to something, but Ganesha has the thing where I think he repels gun?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ganesha has repels, which suck, but he is weak to something. He's just a big chunky boy.
Chunk boy.
And then there's some low-level enemies. There are certain shadow types I can't insta-kill in Saya's Palace. It's so weird. I've noticed that with the palaces. I don't know if it was the same just because it's been so long since I played vanilla P5. But that's something I definitely noticed in R, where I'm like, wow, there's a lot of spread. High-level shadows in the palace are really tough. Low-level shadows are fucking chumps.
Yeah.
The first run of low-level shadows, both are one-eyed elephants.
Weak to Psychic, there it was.
Yeah, Ganesha's weak to Psychic. Go, Gadget Haru. Yeah. That was the thing. Okamura's Palace, the first low levels were I remember these guys. These guys I fought, and I've been beating these guys up in Mementos for forever. And then it's and then you get to the end, and you're like, oh, God. The high-level guys at Okamura's Palace are which I don't know, you might not be there yet, Robin, but the high-level guys are fuck. They've got, double resist, gun, and physical. Which, I gotta say, that's always a bitch move. Persona. It's always a bitch move when you do enemies who are resistant to basic attacks. Because you are forcing me to spend SP. Or suck it up and punch them.
Well, that's something I like, is that there's a lot of traits that are just reduce SP usage. I'm like...
Yeah, they've done a lot with the traits and special skills. That's a new system that's added. They did that great with all of your allies have unique ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, Morgana boosts healing effectiveness. Where the fuck is that? What was that? You broke up a little bit there, Lucky.
Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna say something. I was like, no, you can find that on here. It's not super important.
But there's some of them up your combat abilities, your basic. I think Makoto buffs your basic melee attacks.
Oh no, Makoto is Gaia Pact, if I remember correctly.
Oh, is Makoto Gaia Pact?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought that was on. Because Gaia Pact.
No. On is Magic Mastery thing.
Okay, somebody is definitely Gaia Pact. Yes. Gaia Pact, which ups your shock freeze burn chance.
Mm-hmm.
You reduce your AoE SP usage. A lot of the personas you confuse can choose the bloodline traits, which let you half SP usage for those class of skills, which are great.
Oh yeah, no. Ryuji does the
Ryuji's
reckless attack.
DPS. That's right.
Yeah,
which makes sense. That's him. He's that guy. Still beating stuff.
Oh, there's just ammo up here. What the fuck? Yoink. Take it.
Oh, actually, here's a good question. Talking about money usage, it's not super expensive, Lucky, but did you customize your guns any?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. I got into like I said, I like what they did to customization, and once you get to Y10, he just do it for free. I was all like, now there's never no reason not to do it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So they changed how you do gun customization. Before it was just you did the tuned version of the gun.
Yeah, just
which I think even he might start that way now, but eventually it's specific accessories, so you can do. It's usually long barrel for better accuracy, receiver for better damage, but actually no, it's just better damage, and then elemental camo patterns for adding effects like shock, burn, etc., but that lowers your ammo.
And damage, but you know what? It's supposedly like a super high. Oh, actually, shit. You actually might know this, not know this, Omega. Did you know how to up your technical damage and bonus?
I think I know what you mean. I'm
okay,
not sure.
So
when you phrase it that way, I'm like, that doesn't sound quite right, but I do know from like doing the prison matches about like combo stacking with technicals and stuff.
Okay, so you know how darts lets you increase your baton abilities? Playing once you buy the book.
No, I haven't played any billiards. I don't have a trick.
Okay, so when you play billiards, some guy will go up and tell you to buy a book. If you buy that book and read it, you unlock the ability to upgrade your technical damage and knockdown chance.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I'll make sure to do that.
Yeah, because
I need more books to read anyway.
Like honestly, I didn't learn about that, and I didn't figure that out until I was in like the last month, and I was like, "Oh, I'm dumb."
Okay, I'll hit up a billiard sometime.
Yeah,
I have done a couple of the baton pass ones, but I haven't gotten everybody. I do appreciate though that it's once you actually have the time to go take people there, it's pretty easy to do. And I have Kawasumi unlocked, so after I leave a palace, I can be like, Kawasumi, give me the special massage. And then she asks, "Did you feel anything?" I'm like, "I don't feel anything. But do it harder." And I suppose at 10 she knows you're a phantom thief, but I have to wonder, she's wondering, "Kid, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you have so much... What have you been doing?" I've been like, acrobatics. I tumbled, and I did Shana's hook, or Kanda hook, or whatever. I think it's Shana's hook, because it's like chain hook. Which is a little... I feel like they could have made it a little more explicit when you can do that, and it's just like, oh, it procs from farther away, but that's still fun. Fucking ambushing a shadow from a mile away with your fucking grappling hook. So, Lucky, do you think, having played the whole game, the grappling hook does anything really extra or unique, or is it just like we thought in the beginning, where it's just like, it just gives you some extra platforming and stuff?
It gives you some extra platforming. Like,
I appreciate it because it's fun and it's integrated well, but it's not really deep, right?
No, honestly, in the last dungeon here's something I want to mention.
That's a hilarious. Yeah, it's a really great Scruffy Turtles comic about Cognitive Haru. Just looking at that sweet, sexy Joker.
And now I gotta look at this.
Yeah, it's in. Also, it has the exact quote for what he calls Joker: "The pompous one in the black coat."
Error. So shit, I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about Hook.
Oh, hang on, let me give this dude the thing. I made him the stuff. Wait. I left it on the workbench. Now I gotta go all the way back.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. So, the thing that I feel like with dungeons is, on their own, the dungeons were pretty good originally. And the redesigns really don't add anything to them. They just add a little bit of platforming, a little bit of shortcutting here and there. And, just things so you can go get Will Siege, which I still don't fully understand. I guess they just want to play up something with, like, you make extra cool abilities with them.
Well, yeah, the ultimate thing they do is, one, I believe you said this earlier, they give you a little bit of SP regeneration in game, which is good, because that's very important for grinding.
Mm.
The other thing is that when you take them to Jose, you turn them into special unique accessories, which there was probably ways to get something similar in the game already, but they're like special unique accessories, which usually give you a special ability themed to the boss, which lets you do kind of some of their stuff.
Yeah, I like to equip the rings to the person they affected. Like, I gave Yusuke the Ring of Vanity, so now he has the Bleeding Brush move. I'm like, this is theme. This is on theme. So, but, like, in the last dungeon, you feel like the grappling hook was something that was made more a part of the dungeon to begin with.
Well,
so I was like,
that's probably literally true.
Yeah. So, like, and I guess, like, the other thing I like most about the grappling hook is the fact that you can use it to lengthen your ambush range. Because that's, I think, what Kasumi's, like, fourth. It's one of the abilities you get is basically use your grappling hook to ambush from range.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, China hook.
Yeah, but that was fine and all until I realized that I can sprint into everything and end their life. So I was all like, well, I don't use that anymore.
Yeah, well, that's obviously there's that, because that is the unfortunate side effect of the edit to instant kill, is that you do instant kill by sprinting now, as opposed to automatically when you ambush.
Yeah. So, like, I like grappling hooks. Lucky loves grappling hooks. So, Lucky thinks grappling hooks should be in all games, in every game.
And let's be real, Joker, real smooth with that grappling hook.
Oh yeah. Like, here's the thing. There's difference with, like, because there's two types of grappling hook movements. One is I'm going from a platform to a platform, and one is I'm doing a fucking scene change. Like, you know them. Like,
platform to platform, I'm just gonna shoot up a platform is like, it's just an extra tall version of Joker's normal ability to jump up certain points.
Yeah,
and then there's a scene where you like go into a different area, like in Futaba's palace, where you fly past the fucking arrows and stuff and all that, do the fucking sweet flips.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, like, I would like prefer more like of the latter, where it's just all like whoosh. It's like, here I go.
But at the same time, you can also see why that's not everywhere, because then you have to like work at it.
Yeah.
Then you have to like find a real place to put it. Like, I'm kind of curious. I'm wondering what I think in Futaba's palace you just jumped over some of those sections, which is obviously well, that's really weak. So we can make that cooler.
Yeah.
But in other places it's like, well, yeah, so functionally it doesn't make any sense. Like, I think the climax in Okamura's palace, they did some interesting stuff with like the grappling hook and then like the ability to traverse, because I don't remember all those floating platforms at the end. That'll be fun, Robin. I'm definitely I think because I'm not gonna like perfect ace it the first run like Lucky did, just because I think I probably ended up mismanaging my time with like either my confidants or I just ended up ended up having to grind some stats longer than others, because that'll happen sometimes. I don't know. Obviously, I'm still in October, so I'm pretty sure I'll get to the new content, but I don't know if I'll get like 100% with everybody first run. I could definitely see myself restarting over and just cruise controlling on 5 stats like I always do. And honestly, that's always like, you've platinumed the game, Lucky, so you probably don't feel any desire to go back and do it, but I always feel with these games that's a really fun part of Persona, is when you do a new game plus, you can just cruise control.
Yeah. Like originally, like that was my original goal. It was like, all right, I'll just like, take it easy and, I'll just get on the second go. But then like I'm in fucking Shido's palace, and I'm like, I'm real close to just getting everyone.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like,
Actually, that's a good question. So does the game give you more opportunity to hang out with people in the last month? Or in November, I guess? Okay,
so here's the thing I learned. You can hang out, you can hang out with people until you can send the calling card. Once you reach that point where you can send the calling card, you cannot hang out with any of the students. And it's really fucking weird. Because basically they are all like, hey, you want to send the calling card? Let's send the calling card. Have you sent that calling card yet? I'm like, I want to go, like, hang out with you. It's like, no, calling card now. I'm just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So, because that's one of the things I learned is,
the calling card?
And yeah, it's, shit. I was marveling at my junk turret being fucking awesome.
Yeah, I can tell something completely distracted you. I tried to prompt you again there,
but shoot, let me think. So basically, it came down to me working on Haru, and it was like literally last day, because I think like the day before, like the day after everything resolves, like there's like one chance to hang out with Haru. And I was all like, my first time I was at 8. I got her to 8, and then the last
I
day,
think you said this actually. You reloaded?
Mm-hmm.
A save
I
to reloaded.
Haru? Yeah. And I basically like redid everything, and at that point I was all like, no, I am fucking locked in. I am completing everything this first round.
Oh, that's about our second hour done.
Yeah, but like,
I'm still working on P5. I'll get there. I feel like, unfortunately, Final Fantasy VII Remake has taken a backseat just because Lucky has been a little bit of a mad lad about Persona 5, and I'm just like, well, I really want to keep up so we can talk about it, We will continue to see. Hopefully next week I won't double stream. I'll just take a day off, like a normal person.
Yeah.
It was good, though, because I got through some stuff. Because I've been streaming Legacy of the Duelist. I got all the way through the vanilla Yu-Gi-Oh! And now we're in GX.
Mm-hmm.
Which is... It's still very interesting. So there was a comment on the third stream, which I think is it's really good, because it is actually really indicative of the way the streams work. It's like, it's a comment that's like, it's quoting me, Omega when he's losing. This is bullshit. I hate this game. Omega is winning. Is this real life right now? And I'm like, no, that's very accurate. That's how I feel. Because it's when I'm losing, it's usually because of game bullshit, and when I'm winning, it's because it's game bullshit. It's just my game bullshit. I'm just like, is this okay? What's happening right now? Because the game, I will stand firm that I do not think that Legacy of the Duelist is made by people as necessarily a labor of love, which is sad because it's like it seems like it's a big tribute and a big throwback to all the different seasons of the anime and stuff. But it also does weird things where it gives some characters like ultra modern decks. Ultra modern decks for old ass anime. What in the community we've taken to calling caveman Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's what I started to call it. Because I've talked about this. When Yu-Gi-Oh started way back in the early 2000s, I played it. I still have some cards. Like I have some old ass cards that suck, and the game design for the trading card game was not the same as it is now in the past. Who could have guessed? Mm-hmm. But that was a very unga bunga time because archetypes didn't exist. Like, you couldn't build a deck of just 40 different cards all themed around Dark Magician. There were a couple of cards, after they showed up in the anime, which did require Dark Magician stuff, which kind of went together, but that still wasn't a full deck's worth, so usually you ran hybrids or stuff. And one of the most commons was just, normal beatdown monsters. You just summon a bunch of monsters as rapidly as you can. It's why the quote from Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series is very ironic now, where the first episode is for time cutting. They simplify and Kaiba summons all his blue eyes, and Yami goes, "Didn't you just summon a bunch of monsters in one turn? Isn't that against the rules?" And then Kaiba delivers the famous line, "Screw the rules, I have money." But that is literally Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, is like, if you have a very good high-level meta deck, you will summon a bunch of monsters in one turn. And if your deck is really good, those monsters will actually do something. As a person who's been playing around with a lot of decks lately on Edo Pro, Pendulum also does that, but there are definitely certain archetypes or themes where you can summon a bunch of monsters and they're fucking worthless. They're real bad. They're not worth it, but you can do it still. So it's really interesting, and sometimes they give AI players in the game Legacy of the Duelist, they give them some of the ultra-modern decks, hence the story of my deck, which is called Fuck Mine. Because my Valentine is one of the duelists, and she got a ultra-modern Harpy deck, which involves a lot of searching, summoning, and a lot of support. And it really kicked my butt for a while, so I had to make a deck specifically designed to fuck her over. And it's come back a lot, because the deck is just full of shitty negations and, flip traps and shit, which only exist to frustrate your opponent, and it's really good as a counter-AI strategy. But it's still very funny, so that's going to be a long-running theme, is the Fuck My deck. Which, yes, people like the pun. Several people have said that they like it when I say it out loud. But ultimately, I do still love the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's why I'm playing so much with the fans in the off hours on Edo Pro and stuff. I've got a couple more replays of Edo Pro I need to record and shoot off. That'll be interesting, I think. But it's really interesting to see kind of the different levels, and we've done dumb stuff and good stuff. But I will continue to play Legacy of the Duelist for a while. If only so, when I inevitably get to the tutorial for it, Omega will finally learn how to pendulum summon. I'm joking, it's not that hard. I know kind of how to use pendulums now because they simplified it a little bit. But out of all the weird monster types they've added, because that is definitely a thing I've noticed, is that every new series, the anime has to add some new gimmick which makes its way into the card game. And I'm like, damn, dude. And they have a lot of other... It's really interesting to see the evolution of the card game, right? Because they do a lot of callbacks to old archetypes, with new monster types, but also then sometimes they just don't. Vesper and I have been running a tag duel. The clip is up on our YouTube channel, where we played a Gate Guardian themed deck. Gate Guardian is one of the original classic boss monsters, of the original series. It was a big chunky boy that had all these dumb special summon requirements. And in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Teams, Gate Guardian really sucks. He has no effect. He's just a big beat stick, but that means he has no protection. He doesn't have an actual archetype, so there's no support card specifically for Gate Guardian, other than one funny case that I don't need to get into. That's a technical thing. Lucky doesn't need to know about that. But
you probably wouldn't even understand.
But so that's really fun to play, but also there's nobody's remembered that Gate Guardian exists and made new Gate Guardian cards, right? Whereas for a lot of the classic series protagonists' signature monsters, like Yugi's Black Magician, or Dark Magician in English, and then Joey's Red Eyes Black Dragon, Kaiba's Blue Eyes White Dragon. Those are all really iconic. Those have continued to get support, and even new forms in the new card types that do all the different stuff. Some of them I appreciate, and I like what they do. Some of them are weird, and some limitations are better than others. But it's really interesting to see it evolve. I think, other than the fact that there are some really cutting-edge, like, high-level meta decks still, which are really, really bullshit. We've talked about this before. I don't like the game style where your opponent plays a turn and you do nothing and they win. That's just shitty. It was funny. I played a dumb deck with Dallas, one of our moderators, last night. It's actually a Koi Koi themed deck. There's a whole Koi Koi themed archetype.
Oh, that's cool.
But that was what so remember how I mentioned there's some deck types where you summon a bunch of monsters in one turn that suck? His deck archetype was definitely that. Like, it took a lot of effort to get a really good, I think they're called Flower Cardian cards. Yeah. Like one of his basic monsters one of his basic bosses was like Moon Viewing.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was Light Shower. That one was kind of a fucker. That one was actually good, but it took him a lot of effort to get there. But man, was there a lot of times where I just had to sit back and go like, okay, we're just going to wait until he's done activating all his effects and drawing a shitload of cards. If that was good, that would be scary, right? And I wouldn't enjoy that very much.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like that there's some archetypes that are quite that high level, but in general, I like the nature of the game right now. And apparently other people agree, because my Legacy of the Duelist streams are pretty popular for our streams, and do get a lot of engagement.
That's cool.
I do think part of that is because I yell and scream, though.
I would, yeah, I'd probably say so, yeah. People like it when people get mad.
Well, I think it's just, they like the emotional extremes, because there's a lot of, in Legacy of the Duelist, there's a lot of, like, what? How? Fuck you.
No,
but there's also, like, did I just completely win? Like, there's a lot of, like I think on the third stream I played a game as Joey. They gave Joey an amazingly real deck. Like, they gave him a very modern deck, because it was literally his last duel ever in the story. And it was really good, and I really kicked ass, and I was like, yeah, that's how you do it, because I really like the Red Eyes archetype. Red Eyes Black Dragon was, I think, the first big Yu-Gi-Oh monster that I saw, and it's black with red eyes. It's really cool. And also, he's so pointy. Blue Eyes always looked kind of derpy to me with its big, weird bullet head. Had great sound effects, though.
Yeah, here I go. I'm gonna go in a fucking church with a graveyard.
But I will continue to play Legacy of the Duelist in my off time, and I will work on P5R. I'll probably play some more today, I guess.
Stabs! Yeah, I said, Lucky can't really... Ooh, that's a lot of ammo. Ah! Fuck you! Lucky will probably continue stabbing zombies and getting mauled by them.
R.I.P.?
I guess.
Anyway, we've developed a lot of jokes. Like somebody just posted the Pot of Greed gimmick, which, by the way, in case you don't know, Pot of Greed is a card that allows you to draw 2 cards, and it's currently banned in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, hey, guess what? Turning 1 card into 2 is bad for free. That's really, really good if you can just do that anytime. And then I think Graceful Charity is another common one. That's where you draw 3 but have to discard 2. But a lot of cards activate from your graveyard now, so that's not actually a penalty, so they had to get rid of that one too. But we have there's a lot of those jokes. Lucky, you even get on the would you like to activate a card?
Oh yeah, I love that.
Because because of the very finicky nature of timing in Yu-Gi-Oh!, the game has to ask you a lot if you want to activate something. And you can skip it, but you have to be very careful about that, because if you hold the skip button too far, you will miss your trigger and you will get fucked. But I think we just like to have a lot of jokes. Lucky, you did not participate in our Sheriff of Nottingham playtest. No, we should probably try that with you sometime, though. I don't know if we have to slow roll that. Depending on the game, you might find it very annoying, because we made a lot of dumb accents and references for no reason. But we definitely did literally every time bread came up, because the game has you're playing merchants and you're trying to get goods in. One of the goods is bread. Literally every time somebody mentioned breads, it came up. How many breads have you eaten in your life? Literally every time. Either in the form of how many I'm going to eat this many breads, but how many breads have you eaten? Blah blah blah. Like it kept happening.
I see you there, fucker. This happened to me last time. This time I am prepared. Bitch. Oh, Lucky went into a church before, and a zombie literally fell on him. And thinking that they'd probably do the exact same fucking thing. Ah! They still got me. I looked up onto the rafters. I saw a zombie up there, and I was like, "Ha! How now, brown cow?" Then I turn around and they drop another one on me. It's like, damn it, you got me with the double zombie.
Ah, they raptored you.
Mm-hmm.
Clever girl. Trying to think, is there anything else really big to talk about?
I don't know.
Probably talk about some anime stuff. We could talk about phone games, but those aren't really doing anything right now.
Lucky continues to cry, and hey, military armor schematic and an anvil schematic. I will use both of those. That's a really good gun.
Lucky was talking about Tartu, by the way, in case he forgot what he was doing.
So let's see here.
And I think they've clarified we're not getting the new event right away. It's going to be the rerun first.
Yeah.
Because they've advertised some of the ships. I mean, we didn't really... That's the thing. We didn't really talk about those games, though. Like, I think we mentioned them in allusion to FGO, but we did not actually talk about them. Yeah, Le Mans, so it's the French rerun. That'll be okay. I'll try it out. But also, reruns do mean that we can hopefully go a little less whole hog.
Yeah, like I'm okay. Like as I said, I need to recover because I'm still like spinning cubes constantly trying to get Tartu,
and also doing your map runs to get Tartu.
Yeah. So
I'm not super involved in Girls Frontline. There is a points event I am working on. I did do the core exchange. I got Saiga 12, who's a 5-star shotgun, who's brown, who I did not have.
To get my last login for that. So I'm almost there.
I think because I did the logins and I got the free skin. I think it was FNC's Halloween skin. It wasn't super exciting, but stuff. It happened. Free costumes are cool. I appreciate that Girls Frontline is getting a little bit more generous with this stuff, even if it's only just because it's anniversary. The Girls Frontline thing that I think that's really interesting we can talk about is that they confirmed with the graphic that their Ubisoft collab will be Girls Frontline X The Division.
I mean, I can see it.
Sure, I could easily see it.
But I'm still curious of what's going to come out of it.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing I wanted to bring that up, because you're probably more enthused about that than I am, I would guess. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Girls Frontline, but you were definitely way more whole hog on the Division, and the Division 2, obviously, than I was. I appreciated the first game, but also I was okay not getting, like, super deep into it.
Yeah. I mean, we played a little bit together, but we never went whole hog.
No, and I didn't buy, like, any of the extra stuff. If you want to talk to me about my Tom Clancy's, I much prefer Rainbow Six Siege and that like, which would be I hope that they do that one for like Arknights or something, because that would be really, literally for Arknights that would be a really good collab, because the characters in Rainbow Six Siege are called operators and they all have unique abilities and gadgets, which is fun.
I don't think they'll double dip on collab titles.
I would assume not, because especially considering those games are technically competing, they're from different studios. That would be weird, right? So
yeah, probably. Yeah, so it'd probably be like Rainbow Six Siege.
Plus, also, well, yeah, that would be great. Put Dokaibi in there. She's great. Dokaibi is a cute operator who does cell phone stuff, literally. So it's funny. But also for Arknights, the game is literally called Rainbow Six Siege, and they have a unit in Arknights called Siege, which people already make that joke, so it would be perfect.
If you're talking about Siege, you're either making Artoria jokes or Siege, Rainbow Six Siege jokes.
Oh, also, I think I saw this in Gacha earlier. Is that for reals? Is there a KFC collab skin with Exia? Is that a real thing right now, Panda? Yes. That is for reals. Wow. Okay. I hope they do that in the States. No, I probably won't come to Global because we have different...
Someone post that on Patreon.
Though,
Patreon for me.
You never know. They could always scrub the branding like they did with Belfast Pocky skin. That was a collab for a Pocky company, but they couldn't mention it because Pocky is a registered trademark. So licensing.
Yeah, also, there was another skin that was...
I do hope the World Wildlife Fund thing also comes to Global. Yeah, that's a video, Panda. I can't click that. We're recording right now.
Well, I just wanted to see the skin.
Oh, yeah. Panda relinked it. Here it is. KFC crossover. But it's Exisai, and she's got a fucking motorcycle, and she's got some roller skates, it looks like. I don't even, other than the fact that it's white and red and she's got the little ascot, I don't actually see how much it's KFC themed, so hopefully you could do like I said with Belfast, which Azure Lane is published by the same company as Arknights. You could scrub the logos and release it anyway as something else. Like, I think the only branding is that, like, stand in the back that I see anyway. Other than that, it's just some mysterious chicken kernel skin, you know? I'll check out the animation later. But, yeah, so collabs and crossovers are interesting. Other than the fact that I'm not interested at all in the Girls Frontline one that's going on right now. Literally haven't done it. Literally don't care, don't know who those are. Don't even bother.
No.
Oh yeah, the moped skin for Amiya is super adorable. She literally, her sprite in your base has her little moped and she scoots around in it. It's fucking adorable.
Toot, toot.
Beep beep, doctor.
God.
Yes, good, precious child. Head pats. I need to find some time to move the story forward in Arknights. It's been a while since I did story work, but I've been busy.
Same.
Honestly, I'm kind of hoping I'll be a little less busy this week because, as I've said before, I'm planning this week on running the Fate homebrew in my Wednesday slot, which at the very least is written already. I have no guarantees it won't be fucking chaos, and it probably will be, but it's also a playtest, so I'll just, if anything goes wrong, it's a playtest. But that I don't have to write, and then, depending on how long it takes you to do the next adventure for Star Wars, which I'm in the middle of writing, it'll be Pirate Treasure. You might not actually get it all done in one session, because I feel like we're stacking a lot of other conversations that need to happen in.
Oh yeah, things happen.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much, but it is a big dramatic moment in 23 where some stuff happens, where, like I said, there's some character drama, which you should check out. You should check out 23 for that one, and you should check out 22 when it comes out, because Omega does a dumb voice that people love.
It's a great voice.
People are very happy about it. But that's probably going to promote... On the one hand, that's explicitly going to be that two players have said they want to have a scene together after that. I'm presuming there may or may not be multiple scenes with certain NPCs who matter about that incident between other player characters. But also at the end of that, your resolution to that whole plot arc was, can we just rub some clones on this? And it was like, yeah, if you're done dealing with this, you can totally just let it mop up off screen. So next session, it will probably be better while it's fresh in everybody's mind to report to you guys on what happened.
Yeah.
And then you'll have the setup for another adventure, which probably means you'll need to go shopping for like an hour. Axel want to buy diving gear for no reason, despite the fact that I have at no point said that Pirate Treasure involves going underwater. You'll want to save that diving gear for the other mission I explained, where you got to go fight a factory sub.
Yay, underwater.
Fight's a great term. Like you're gonna punch it.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna punch a giant undersea factory. No, you'll punch things in it though. I had a lot of inspiration just while my internet was out Thursday night, because I don't know why, but when I stream, my internet likes to die after like midnight that night for a little while, and on Thursday it was really long. It was like 5 hours or something, which was really frustrating because after playing children's card games, I wanted to play my version of children's card game with people, and I just couldn't. Hopefully I didn't like keep anybody up or distracted because they were waiting for me to come back from the Phantom Zone, the Shadow Realm. But during that time, I also just chilled and listened to some music because I can do that offline. And had a lot of thoughts about the different segments and arcs that we're gonna do and stuff.
There's thoughts. There's feelings.
And the different adventures. So I've got a lot of inspiration that'll be very interesting. I've got a lot of character. I've got a lot of designs for NPCs and a lot of designs for like challenges and stuff. I wanna try out and show off some cool things. Some of which we're gonna see in the other one, but that's also gonna involve a lot of design because it's gonna involve something I like to do a lot, which is loot. I like to custom craft little tchotchkes and things for my players, both as a specific reward, and then also, especially since we're playing with Force characters, I love a little bit of temptation. Will Lucky take the dark side cookie?
Lucky has been known to take the dark side cookie.
So yeah, it's very interesting. So I'm gonna have a couple of interesting things in this because obviously it's about treasure. So you gotta have something, right?
I missed the cat's internet girlfriend.
Never fully got to pull the trigger on that one.
No, but it was fun while it lasted. Let's see. Oh, there's another gun.
Well, you see, Robin, Darkside pips are circular, so they're shaped like cookies.
Yes.
I would totally also probably provide snacks if we played in real life, or somebody should provide snacks. That's just common courtesy.
I would totally, Lucky likes making snacks for people.
But we don't play live, so not in real life anyway. But if you want to eat cookies while we play, that's okay. Just remember to mute your microphone so people don't have to listen to you chew. That will be awkward. We're sensitive to those kinds of things. If you don't know that joke, though, that is a long-running internet meme. Come to the dark side, we have cookies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the dark side actually has cookies, but there's plenty of temptation to be had. We're touching on a lot of our War is Hell themes and a lot of other stuff.
Lucky was just doing the vigorous nod action.
Yeah, we had that conversation in Let's Talk FGO yesterday, where I was like, you were doing a mailbag segment, you were saying something, and I was just nodding along, and I was just like, nobody knows what's going on right now. I'm just quiet. But continue to stay tuned to the AP as they exist in our thing, and I have to... it's about 9 p.m. This one's going to be longer, but probably not too much longer, because I feel like we're running out of steam.
Yeah, I don't mean...
That's okay. We're over 2 hours, that's fine.
Wow, this is effective.
We can run it. We can run out of juice, but that probably won't take too long to edit. After that, I should probably get ready to schedule another AP, and also like maybe work on those quick clips if I want to. And like I said, go back to FR and stuff.
Yeah,
because I think a decent chunk of my Cardi boys are out on the weekends. Like Lot's still here, obviously, but you know I'm gonna see him tomorrow anyway for gaming, so I should make sure to manage my time and do stuff efficiently. And then Omega's going to get distracted and he's going to start watching Second Gig tonight or something. Dumb.
Oh, I got like 5 points to level show. Holy fuck. Oh, I know what I want to do. This. Then I can level up this!
But yeah, okay. But yeah, so look forward to gaming stuff. I think that's everything really to talk about. I mentioned I wrote some stuff. Did some things. Don't really have anything else to mention. Lucky, you got anything else you want to talk about?
No, not really. P5R and Ghost in the Shell were my big two.
That's fair. Those were the first and second hour of the show for the most part.
Yep. So yeah. As I said, everyone give Mega the side eye to finish at least how far he can in P5R before he goes again, so we can talk about that in length next week. As I'm not even gonna bother him about Final Fantasy because I feel that one could be fresh anytime.
Yeah, that'll just happen when it happens now, I think.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine, because that's just the nature of the game. Like, it's just that I want to do other things right now is why I'm not doing it. If I wanted to, I'd slide right in there. Because we're getting to some pretty critical moments. I think it wasn't on mic, but I mentioned that last, as far as I got, I was playing that game, and I'm in chapter 12, I think. Yeah. It's in the Battle for the Pillar, and an emotional beat just happened. I was just like, yeah, I'm not in the mood for this right now. Like, this is being very serious. I'm just not feeling this right now. I'll do something else. And then I've just been like, whenever I've been playing games lately, it's been like, I need to work more on P5R. My real-time confident. My confident for play card games is really high. But I don't know what that does yet.
Oh, you probably saw me. You fat bastard. Whatever. You're so
Ooh, and we should also, I will also mention, we're keeping an eye open for future. I haven't actually recorded any TTS stuff, but I could if I wanted to. And probably will in future as we get games together. But that'll be in the week. Alright, I think then, if Lucky has nothing further to say, we'll wrap up, and maybe we'll get a snack and wrap this audio.
Yeah!
And by snack, I mean dinner.
I need food, too.
Food is important. Alright. There's no point in meandering on. This episode's already meandered. So I will just say that, hey, if you like this episode and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to give us a like. If you have any comments, leave in the comment section down below. Or you can hit us up on our Discord. That link is, as always, in the description and on our channel page. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel for all of these episodes. Look out for What's Up, look out for Let's Talk FGO, look out for other videos like Wanteds and other stuff, and of course, our other content we're doing, streaming and whatnot. But speaking of streams, even if you're already subscribed, considering the bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. It's very important. That and keep an eye on our community tab and our Twitter. We're using both of those pretty frequently now. Another big thing that I don't usually toss in, but I'll toss it in again here, is we mentioned this also on Let's Talk FGO. We mentioned this last week. We do have a new shirt design, the Rabbit of Tyranny. You can find that on our store. That link is in the description also, and on our channel page, our Teespring store. And it's pretty cool. We've sold a couple.
Yeah! Super excited about that, guys.
Yeah, it's real fun. It's good. Lucky did say he would be sad if we didn't sell any. Well, we have already sold some.
Yeah, I know, so I'm happy. That's how this works. Mentioning Girls Frontline, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably make sure I get the things from Girls Frontline.
Yes, get the things, and also there is a point event, so there's just some really easy stuff you can do there. Like today, I just abused some stuff to go ahead and get a lot of points. For instance,
let's see, my point totals. I'm at 430 right now. Let's see, this is all.
Yeah, I'm at about 500 or 600.
Battles with X-ray, obtaining batteries, logistics supports, training data.
Yeah, batteries is really easy now because you can just abuse forward operating base.
Mm-hmm.
I did all the batteries earlier today, and I'm working on the logistics hours. I did most of the skill training ones too.
Didn't I pull out my fucking? Oh, maybe I already pulled them out. Okay.
But yeah, that was the outro of our show. Be sure to check out the new shirt and all that stuff. And like we said about Patreons and whatever, if you are not necessarily interested in like long-term subscriptions, buying a shirt is a great way to give us a little of infusion of cash directly, because you get a shirt out of it, we get some cash.
Oh god, they did. Fuck. Well, I fucked up anyway. I wouldn't be able to do it either. One thing I hate about events is when they say, "Yeah, this lasts from last thing." Like, I'm gonna bitch about this for a moment.
Go ahead.
Because I'm in Girls Frontline and I'm looking at the fucking free costume thing. It says it still has 5 days, but the actual date for giving out the fucking boxes ended on the 14th.
Ooh, yeah, no, yeah, because honestly, it's a really shitty system. They should have done something better. It's literally you log in every day for 7 days, get the boxes, and can spend them all, and then when you spend your 70th box, you get a free costume. A free costume.
Yeah, see, I'm not upset that I'm not upset that I didn't get the costume. So I'm upset that I feel like it says, because it says it has 5 days, 4 hours remaining.
Yeah, that's only to exchange them.
That's only to exchange.
Azure Lane did that to us about something I don't remember, where it was they did not properly communicate when the event part of the event ended, and a lot of people were upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I fucked that up. Oh well, no free costume for Lucky.
Yeah, well, listen, who knows what you would have gotten.
It is what it is.
By the way, I don't think did I ever say that I got my first ever black card in Girls Frontline?
No, I don't think so.
I did a Radiant collection, and I randomly got Spas 12's dungeon costume again, and they gave me my first ever black card. Shows you how many costumes I roll on Girls Frontline. But all right, after that brief interlude, we're gonna get out of here. Stay tuned, like I said, next week for more. Yeah, well, we won't. You're not gonna get a costume outside of $70. You're gonna get trash. As evidenced before, I literally did all 70 and didn't get anything but Garbo. Oh, look, have 50 training data and 2 neural frags. That's real helpful, game. Have 5 batteries. Anyway, no need to get salty. We're ending the show. The show is ending.
Bye.
We're going away. Make sure to do the thing I said where we come back in a week and watch our other stuff. Okay.